authors.
Hey guys.
Hey, when they're
Okay, there we go.
intimidating.
Hey guys, welcome to
Kinda.
Vanishing
I
Gates.
mean, it's fun. It's a rush, but
Yeah.
Welcome to the late party of Vanishing Gates. I'm your host Jay. With me, as always, is
very tired Jack. Overworked.
The eponymous Jack.
Overworked.
That doesn't really work, does it?
I'm
Eponymous
overworked.
And
Did you call me hippopotamus?
Hey guys,
Dick
I'm
move.
Paco.
It's a dick move.
well, tonight, guys, we have a special
Dennis,
guest,
Jack.
and we'll get
Hi
to that.
Toledo!
Happy birthday, Dennis Hagen in chat.
Happy birthday, Toledo!
All right, guys. The show, Jack. Do you know? You didn't even look, did
the
you?
NSR Reserve. Short run.
Yeah.
Reserve.
Yeah. Oh, you got that. You nailed that down, bro.
Hey, good job there, Jack. Good job there.
Thank
clap.
you for the
You Tamale!
That's so confusing.
It never make any sense, but to us.
Guys, don't forget tonight's show is brought to you by. You want to do this, Jack?
Dio Subs!
Dio Sandwich Shop
My goodness!
and the wonderful Eureka. I can't even say wonderful right.
Eureka?
In Eureka, California, in
California.
friendly Henderson Center,
Well, that's just 'cause you said
429
wonderful.
Grotto. Yeah, and if you go to Dio's and mention that Vanishing Gate sent you, you'll get a discount on your order.
Damn
And you'll get
straight.
insulted.
Boom.
Damn straight. Or they might just refuse your service because we're that horrible. But it's
And we also
worth,
hear-
it's worth the gamble.
If you
I
go to
promise
random
you.
locations, from what I understand, if you go to random locations and say that we sent you for a discount, it may work. You could give it a shot.
I've heard that. Don't
Go
do
to
that.
Bevmo
Don't do
and
that.
tell them that
No!
Vanishing sent you.
So, guys, for the record, Paco may have been involved in a charity bowling tournament, or he may have also been involved in charity drinking.
Very good, Paco.
Thank
He
you.
may
thank
be
you, thank
charitably
you. I appreciate it. You know
inebriated.
what? That whole charity thing, it was phenomenal. I was a part of a charity event today, and it's been ongoing for the last 2 to 3 weeks, and the whole experience has been absolutely uplifting, and it's been great. It's been great.
I'm
really
glad
has
you
been.
feel uplifted.
I
Now-
do.
Let's move on
I
to
do.
the meat and potatoes of
I'm
our
pretty
show.
sure we have
Our
more
guest.
sponsors than just Dio
Not tonight, we don't.
sandwiches. Not tonight.
Later on.
Wow.
Later on. We're
You
gonna
said that
break
last
it up.
time. You
We're
said that last
staggering.
time,
We're
and
staggering.
We never got to it.
It's because we did them all first.
Bro,
No,
we
we
gotta
didn't.
break it up.
Oh, okay.
We gotta break it up. We gotta break
All
it
right,
up.
we're breaking
But
it
tonight
up.
we are joined by author,
Break it
horror
up.
writer, and local-ish Matthew Brockmeyer.
hello, everybody.
How's it
Hello.
going? What's up, Brockmeyer?
We will
Welcome
say-
to the show.
That you come to expect an intense amount of professionalism for Vanishing Gates, so we expect all of our fans in the chat to be just as professional.
Or at least send likes.
Or probably more professional. So like, share, and follow. Please send out all the love.
Jack,
We'll get
wants
to-
all of your love.
we'll get to,
Please
like,
send
the,
all of your email love to
The
Jack.
Facebook information in a little bit. But
Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe. Don't forget our YouTube channel.
I've been working 7
Turn the
days now. I'm
notifications
sorry,
on.
okay?
We got
You're
this-
way
this-
behind me, buddy.
I'm
There's
tired.
that little bell on YouTube. Go ahead and click that.
All right,
so you know when our
but
shows are
let's move along to
Wait,
our
just
guest,
Cut me off.
who has taken the time to come here and join us so nicely.
I'm with him.
So,
Don't abuse the Paco.
Exactly. Don't
abuses a
abuse the Paco.
Don't abuse the Paco.
Damn
Tired of you
straight.
guys ganging up on me.
You know what?
We're
That's
the
what we
guest.
do. We're co-hosts. We gang up on the host. What?
You know you like it when we gang up on you.
Neither of you are my type, and he's my brother, and that's disgusting.
That is awkward. Let's
So
keep
anyway,
going to the meat and potatoes.
so Matthew has written
Written.
a novel,
A or
Kind
numerous?
Nepenthe, but also he's written probably numerous short stories and creepypastas online under the humble Lycanthrope.
Lycanthrope.
Sorry. I think like
Get
so.
it right,
I'm
bro.
Too slow.
Jeez.
I know.
My
I'm
goodness.
sorry. I'm
Don't
too,
insult
I know we
us.
talked
Don't
before the
insult our
show, and this is
guests.
actually something before we get into the books, which I'm actually really interested in because of what you've explained about it. I love, you know, what we talked about, the author I love, H.P. Lovecraft, so I'm really interested in this.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say, "Well, you're a lycanthrope. Can I be a furry too?"
That's just weird.
No, you're gonna do that.
I don't know why you
You
think.
look like you want to wear a big bear suit.
Maybe he
Wanna
can
go
turn
to
into a
Scritch?
werewolf. Okay, you don't
Probably
even know.
can.
All
Humboldt
right,
County.
you don't know.
I'm not gonna judge him
Anywho.
for that. To each
So
their own, bro.
I'm just, you know, one of the things I was interested in was creepypastas because I used to listen to them all the time until I switched to true horror stories, which are just creepypastas with the tag true, which are generally lies, anyways.
Like Ghost Bumps?
But I'm just curious, how many you said you had one YouTuber. It was Mr. Creepypasta.
Yeah, he's done my work.
So tell me about it. Like, which one you did? Did you do any other ones? Like any?
Oh, there's been so many of my stories have been narrated. I don't even keep up with it really.
So,
I mean, I'll go in, I'll like Google one of them, and you're like, look, and there's all these because there's so many amateur YouTube
and then
channels
add it
now,
on to whatever
you know?
you've written too.
And
So,
it's kind of weird. They don't ask your permission. You know what I mean? They just like grab. You write a creepypasta and it's out there. I haven't really been writing too many of those in the past few years.
The one really polite thing they do, at least, is if you get like Mr. Creepypasta or God, who was this?
He
Mr.
asked my
Nightmare.
permission.
Mr. Nightmare, those guys, the main dude. Sometimes they'll ask for permission, but they'll also make sure that your name's in it. That and then they'll put it right at the bottom, so while they're reading it, you know who did it the whole time.
I'd almost get it pulled if they didn't. I don't like that.
Sure.
You know,
yeah. So I want to ask, like, what brought you into the paranormal, unexplained, the supernatural, the creepy, the scary? What got you into that? Like, was there a personal experience? Was it just a lifetime, a passion for like a horror movie you saw? Did you have encounters? Did something happen to you at one point?
Lifetime passion of horror. I'm a horror fanatic, horror freak. When I was a little kid, I remember Masterpiece Theater was doing Dracula, and I mean, I must have been like 4 or 5, and I can still see the Count pulling a baby out of his black satchel to hand to the wives, and I mean, it was just so mind-bogglingly intense, and it actually gave me nightmares. But I loved it. And then, do you remember they filmed it here in Humboldt, Salem's Lot?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've been to the house.
They filmed part of it here, right? It was a large chunk of
nothing
it
like
filmed here, right?
That was huge. That was a monstrous
Ferndale.
influence on me. I can remember sitting in my parents' kitchen, watching that on TV, and then being like, I want the book. And I mean, I was little, really
it was
little.
amazing.
Yeah, and that got me into Stephen King, and then.
Have you ever read the Desperation?
Yes, I have.
That was probably the first novel I've ever read when I was about 13 years old. I read that. It was a great book.
I know,
yes,
I love that.
My mother got me into Stephen King. She always had all the books. Now, before that, my dad, when they were still together, he really loved Robert McCammon.
Right.
You know who he is?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Some of the creepiest stuff you could read, and beautifully written.
Mm-hmm.
So horror has always been a big part of my life. But, I mean, besides that, we always had occult books and stuff in the house. We always had, like, the further on, beside horror writing. Did you have, like, any experiences growing up with the supernatural or the extraterrestrial or...
Try as I might.
Not once.
Not really. I try, you know. I've stayed in pretty much every haunted hotel in California almost, you know. And just... Okay, that's like when we go on vacation, we're like, whoa, what haunted hotel we're gonna go to? Yeah.
Did you ever try the one that Stephen King stayed in? That
Estes Park?
Yeah, the
Estes Park. Yeah, Estes Park. Now they changed it too.
You know who Stephen Graham Jones is? Great horror writer. He taught a class there, man. And one of my good friends took it. If you're watching, Brian Asman, great writer. He's just got
Brian.
MFA program in Riverside, which is congratulations.
Awesome.
But he took it, and I was just, man, I'm still jealous. You know, fuck you, Brian.
You say Riverside.
I love you, but fuck you.
All I can see in my head when someone says Riverside is that Chappelle Show skit with Wayne Brady. When he just gets outside a car and says, Riverside! And starts shooting the place up.
No, I've never been there. I love to go there.
I mean, who wouldn't really? Like, anyone who loves Stephen King, loves horror, and in your position, I can't imagine, like, the desire to go there must be one of those things. It's like if I wanted to go to Disneyland or I wanted to go to, like, Greece or something. That must be kind of what it is for people like horror writers who really love this stuff.
People also go up to Oregon to stay at where it was filmed, where the Kubrick, the exterior shots of the Kubrick building was. And they actually have a huge thing on, like, Halloween and stuff and have bands play, and it's supposed to be really cool.
If I remember correctly, Stephen King actually hates the Kubrick movie, right?
Stephen King
loathes
Kubrick,
that movie.
He hates it. Yeah.
You know what's funny?
He's still talking about it, and they're like, "Dude, Stanley Kubrick's dead, dude.
He's
Just
gone.
Get over it.
Let him go."
Yeah.
People love the movie that brought them to the
I
book.
love the movie. I think it's better than the book.
A lot of people wound up going to the book.
I don't know. Like, I loved the adaptation they did for the short series on TV.
You
the
like that?
miniseries? I actually liked it.
I liked the book.
Here's
You
what
like
I thought about the
I love
miniseries.
both.
Okay.
I loved both. It's not like some Stephen King adaptations. I actually liked both parts in a different way.
You know what?
Exactly. They're
It's
different
separate.
beats.
Exactly.
They're
But
totally different.
Most
They're
people
different
can't
styles.
separate.
Yeah,
That's the
completely
best part. There
different.
are some things where I can't. Some things I
Well,
just can't.
The problem with
fucking do.
so the thing about the movie versus the miniseries was the miniseries was amazing. I really loved it. The movie was amazing, and the thing is, people don't realize is the movie is for people who don't want to sit through, roughly, what, 12 hours for show. They want to go through a movie in 3 hours. They want to get the gist of it, the plot, which he got through in, like, what was it, like an hour and a half, or like 2 hours, I think?
I think it's about 2
That
hours.
was one of the
2
long.
hours.
At
I
the
watched
time,
it twice
was a
in the
longer
theater.
movie.
You see, we played in here in Eureka.
Oh,
and
I
then
didn't go.
I went, and then I also
know.
played in Arcata. I went to both of them
Oh,
just
man,
this
I
Halloween.
missed
Yeah,
it.
took my 12-year-old son, which was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
got to teach him young not to be
let's
afraid
go
of
back to
things.
pop
right?
culture later,
It's
because I want
important.
to talk a little more about, like, not pop culture as you, but let's talk about your pop culture. Let's talk about kind of Nepenthe.
Kind
Without
of
giving too much away, because I don't want to do spoilers too much, but let's go into what the book is about, because we live
It's actually
in an area.
because it's pronounced Nepenthe.
Nepenthe?
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Because I have no idea.
Oh, it is a Nepenthe is a drug that makes you forget.
Oh,
It is like a magic potion. Homer talked about it. A potion that brings
I should know
forgetfulness. So the quote kind Nepenthe is from Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. And he
I
is,
should also know that.
yeah, he says, quaff, oh,
Bet you
quaff
don't.
this kind Nepenthe,
Oh,
and
God damn
forget
it.
this lost Lenore.
Sorry,
Which
I'm
means-
wrong. I knew that. and
Means
I
drink up so you to
forget
release your-
everything
exactly,
and
your
relax.
heartache and pain.
Gosh damn it! How did I'm reading things out of context. I compartmentalize so
And there's
badly.
there's tons of ravens around here.
Oh god.
I
So,
didn't, like, here's the thing. I never
yeah.
read, like, I don't read, like, I basically read Stephen King and Anne Rice. That's mostly what I read in my lifetime. And then some in between, which I won't mention because
We're
most
gonna
people
do an
mock me
episode of
horribly for
Edgar
it.
Allan. Still very.
I feel
It's 'cause-
so. I feel so out of too full heartedly as John Grisham, so I totally feel out of. Oh, he's an amazing. He's an
But it's
amazing author. I
a
really
very
like him.
singular idea.
Yeah,
Like,
everybody
it's
has of what you guys are talking about here.
Yeah,
so
no, not
totally-
even kind of. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Not
yeah,
the literary
this.
master. Just kidding.
Okay,
He's a hack.
if you were to take down like actual like people that understand English, and you were to put them head to head in a fist fight, you took Stephen King.
He would lose.
No, hold on.
He has the worst
No,
writing
no.
style.
Listen,
It's simple.
That's
It is
what
what
I'm
it is.
saying. It's-
His imagination is unparalleled.
Oh yeah, great.
He's
It's
yeah,
amazing.
he's not
amazing.
wild.
Well,
I will give.
I'm
He's
him
a
not
little
that.
rough
knocking
around
it.
the edges,
But
yeah,
he's got
man.
rough.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
rough.
yeah. I love
He's
him,
a
man.
hell of a
Oh, he
drug.
changed my life.
It is.
Yeah,
No, he's
yeah.
amazing.
And you
but
read
he's
his
not
son's
simple.
stuff?
I have not read any of
have
his
Oh
stuff.
man, he's fabulous.
What's his
Yeah.
handle?
Joe Hill.
Joe Hill? Okay.
Yeah, and like he has this book of short stories called
Well, most
20th
people don't
Century
go by their real
Ghosts.
names.
and,
Amazing.
the
Most
fact
writers
that
go
he's
by
I
their
kind of feel
handle,
like
though,
I
is
kind of feel like
different
that'd be a
thing.
little bit better because he has such a big name to live up to. You know, I mean,
Right.
he's got to come out with some.
That'd be
really,
why he went on his
really
own.
big
Two
stuff.
big
That's what
names.
They write
Two big
together
names,
now.
yeah. Oh, do they
Tabitha
really?
and Steven.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
alright.
it's a big, that's two
That's
big
why.
names
That's
we
why
love.
most of them write under pseudonyms, is because they don't want to have to follow up with like.
Right.
I doubt he
No-
wanted to
no
follow his
shadows.
dad
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah, he doesn't
and people
wanna-
are like, "Oh my God, it's a Stephen King book. Let's read it."
Right.
There's no
Yeah.
Stephen King.
I don't
He
even
doesn't
do the
want to
show
live in
with
the
my real
shadow.
name.
He
It's
doesn't
always
want to live in the
pseudonym.
shadow. But even with not wanting to be in that shadow, he still has that shadow to live up to.
But what I was trying to say is, if you break down English, and the actual comprehension of the English language between two authors, and you were to take Stephen King,
And myself, yes, I
I'm
would.
getting some hate for this. Dean Koontz.
No,
Who do you
Stephen
think-
King all the way.
Who do you think
Stephen
has a
King.
better understanding
Stephen King all the way.
of how to write
Stephen
and
King all the way.
actually
Okay,
literate?
so like,
Wait,
I
no,
actually,
hold on.
I've only read one Dean Koontz book. I only read one Dean Koontz book, and I got probably about a quarter of the way through. It's called like the time clock or the cuckoo clock or something like that.
The Cuckoo Clock of Doom.
Yeah. I got like a quarter of the way through that damn book,
It's a goose.
and I literally I gave it away. Like I gave it to somebody else. I
It's
couldn't
called
even do it.
TikTok.
I couldn't even do it.
You're
I,
wrong.
Hold on. Let me.
it was so I can't remember exactly the title, but it was so horrible and so like.
Okay, so
What did you do? What's wrong with you?
let me sum this
All
up
right.
in my opinion on this one real quick. It's simple. Is everybody has a different way of writing. Stephen King, he's not the best. Like he's really rough. He's got a rough style of writing. It's really
He
His
does.
a lot of people have called it
He does.
immature.
language
Right.
But here's
is
the thing.
as good as Tom Wolfe's grasp
But
of the English
hold on. But
language.
here's the thing about it is that Stephen King gets across in layman's terms for people to be able to understand. And easily enough that people, even who have a higher reading IQ or whatever you want to call it, will understand it and enjoy the books. The point is no matter how shitty you are as a speller or a writer, if people love your work, it's a success. It doesn't matter based on what you did or what the critics think. It's if people love it.
I mean,
because look at movies.
He does these great interior monologues. He has these characters, and he gets in their head and explains what they're thinking.
Right.
And it's like simple, and it's like rough because that's the way people think.
Right.
But they make you. He makes you like them. You know what I mean? Because you're in their head. You can see what they're feeling.
Like, look at Desperation. Like Desperation, you wouldn't even know anything about the characters, but he has a way of bringing you back that's not boring.
Now Desperation,
it's not boring.
Short stories are his best work.
Even when they go back into their stories,
you know
it's not boring.
look, I love The Shining. I read it. It was okay and really, really gross.
It was graphic.
Not gross in a good way. No. It was gross.
It was bad, but
It
in
was
some way, it was bad.
Stephen King has, on his own behest, said, his co-author was cocaine for a lot of his writing. But his short stories were some of the best.
Let me say what my favorite quote from Stephen King ever is. I have the heart of a little boy on a jar on my desk. That is my favorite quote of Stephen King.
From a man who still sleeps with his lights on.
I like this one. All I can remember of Cujo is a wastebasket full of bloody Kleenexes. And it's a
There you
shame
go.
because I like that book and I wish I could remember writing it.
Well, it wasn't even a book. It was a short story, and he doesn't even remember what he does anymore. He doesn't remember the short stories versus the books.
I didn't
But
know until...
okay, wait.
Actually,
let's reel it back.
I did want to say one thing, though, about Stephen King real quick before we move on. I had no idea he had done the Running Man. I didn't know he was the author.
Richard Bachman.
The Bachman books.
That's when I saw the movie. I was like, when someone said that, I'd seen the movie a dozen times. Like, no, this is not Stephen King.
And you never thought that you would imagine Arnold in spandex?
I'm like, this is such a basic movie. This is just a fighting movie.
How about Rage, man?
Calm down. Calm down.
I loaned a copy of the Bachman books out to somebody in like the 80s. And it's got Rage in it. You know that he print because it's about a school shooting. All the school shootings he like I don't technically agree with. I mean, I don't know, it's his story, but anyway, it was really cool to get this book back with Rage in it.
Something and I feel like it's if I write something and I feel like it's going to damage people and I feel guilty about, I'll retract it. I get that. Totally is right.
Yeah, but
that
I mean,
said,
nobody can read your writing anyway.
Here's the thing: you don't know. Like, what's the
no
old
one
saying?
knows Cyrillic.
Okay, so you know what? How I look at that, how I kind of look at that, is that that zoo a few years back where those 17-year-old boys were throwing pine cones and rocks at a tiger. Some bitch hopped the fence in a second and ate one of the kids.
Right.
That was his fucking fault, not the tigers. He was throwing things at a deadly animal, and he thought this would be a great fucking idea. It's like going up to a cave with a lion's in holding meat, like, yo, what's up, bitch? And just like fucking throwing shit at it. What's gonna happen? You think it's just gonna sit there and be like, no, I'm cool. I'm gonna go over here. If you don't want to see what's in the book, don't pick the book up.
All right.
If you don't want to know the horror or what's bad, don't pick it up.
Let's talk about just a little bit.
Let's talk about your book.
Your book a little bit, without giving too much away.
Right.
Give the storyline a little bit, like tease the viewers a little bit, so they know, and they can ask questions too.
Maybe even do a little bit of book reading.
What I got from where I've been, I only was able to get to like 2 or 3 pages in because I've been working a lot, and reading on the phone, I told you, is not good for me. So I'm glad I have the actual paper now, guys, which is signed, and I'm super freaking stoked.
Yeah, I want my copy
because
I want to read this stuff.
I'm so stoked on this.
Jack and I are gonna get.
Definitely buy it.
Let me see it.
We're gonna get our copies later on in the show, and
I'm gonna put it right here.
Matthew here, he's gonna sign them.
Well, I don't want to get. Boom.
And
like, put it right against
a lot of hype on this book.
The artisan water right here.
It's been getting great reviews.
I haven't seen a bad review yet. I have not seen a bad review yet.
I was actually checking out your little.
The bad reviews are like too brutal. Well, this one review was so funny. It was something like, I usually don't read books with crude language and actions, and this was full of it. Plus the marijuana growing and murder and ghosts. And you're like, what?
That right there should be our title of our show instead of Vanishing. It's marijuana, murder, and ghosts.
I was using this bad review as advertising. I've been like using it like crazy.
And 1 star.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you don't mind this, you might like this story. And I was like, yeah,
go for it.
Actually, that's a good question. Real quick in chat. James Cox asked if there was a giveaway for this book. If we were going to do a giveaway.
Sure. Yeah. Hell yeah. I'll do a giveaway.
We're going to do a giveaway?
Maybe,
how are we going to handle this?
Maybe I think if we do this, I think it should be 1 book or two tops, and
One
we
book.
should do
One book and one magazine. I got a magazine.
Okay, one book and one
magazine, too.
magazine.
Well, there's a
You want to
story
do
he
a combo,
did.
or you want to do them separate?
No, together.
Together?
One
All right,
winner.
and then I think we'll do a raffle.
One
I think we'll do
person.
another raffle.
No, I have a better idea. If you want to win, and I'll actually give you money for both. If you want to win this book and magazine signed by the author,
I'll personally inscribe it too if you want.
you have to send us a story of something you've encountered in your life.
Yeah, but
A
the problem with that is
personal
he's
encounter.
never encountered anything. How could he possibly send a story?
Well,
He's
no,
met us.
it's not more about him. It is that actually like getting him out of there, and
All right.
also more viewers and
Look, listen,
being more integrated in the show.
we're going to work together. He and I will be the judge. You send us a really good story
Yeah, Jack and I have nothing to do with this
at all.
at all.
Even a
just
little
pawns in the
We're
scheme
just
of
pawns
things.
in
bit.
this
Even
game.
a little bit. Unless you want to send that
All right.
that erotic fan
If you
fiction
wanna
of
win it-
Jack and
If you want to win it, just mention that Jay has no eyebrows in the header.
No, one of those.
You
Yeah.
You'll
just got to
absolutely
mention.
lose.
You just got to mention that Jay has no eyebrows in the header. That's necessary. Remember
Yes.
that. Jay has no eyebrows.
or send
in
your
the
erotic
header.
Vin Diesel fights Jack fan fiction.
I don't want that, but
Yes, you do.
why not? I'll
It's
take
on,
it.
It's on your. It's on
You know
your
what? I'll
Facebook
take it.
page.
I'll take it.
You will take it.
And
Oh,
for
you'll
all
take
you
it.
lovely ladies out there, send me your single profiles.
Don't do that.
Now this is a pickup show, so.
All right, anyway, so I am down with doing a
I
giveaway.
was being left out. I didn't know what else to say.
Send vanishinggates at
Very good choice.
gmail.com your personal encounters, and make sure you don't just send it as a blah 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 it happened. Try to actually write it out as a story, something that actually happened to you.
Yeah.
And me and Matthew will read it together, and
I think
I'll
that'd be
let
great.
these guys vote too. We'll
I
do
think
a-
that'd be great. Oh, thank you
we'll
you
do
so
a
much.
vote.
I really appreciate that. I really
know,
appreciate
and we'll do that in the next month or so.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know, with that being said, in the finale of that being done and taken care of, and we're getting back to the book here, I'm going to kind of bring it back. Matthew has brought over these book, and I guess kind of wanted to read off some of the things that were
Reviews?
said, the reviews from different from different people, if you don't mind. A
No,
little
you're
artisan
good.
water.
I know.
I'm
That's
so
why I was
sorry.
trying to tell
You know
you
what?
to
I'm
calm
so
down.
sorry.
He's had some artisan water. Give him a
he
break.
said-
A lot of
And
Irish
artisan
yeah,
water.
He's
yeah.
been
Good stuff
this week.
So,
in lieu of St. Patty's Day coming
so
up.
yeah, we're talking about. You said it was Nepenthe. Nepenthe.
Nepenthe, yeah.
Nepenthe. Okay, so the book is called Kind Nepenthe, and Best Thrillers has said that it was riveting. Horror News says that it was mesmerizing. Kirkus Reviews says it was thoroughly suspenseful and haunting. And that's got, I mean, that right there has got me interested.
Kirkus is pretty dope.
I'm hooked on that. Online Book Club says that it twists and turns and will be a true factor for thriller fans everywhere. Gave it a 4 out of 4 stars. And the last one here on this wonderful bookmarker is from Media B Literary. And they said, did I say that wrong, Jay?
No, I don't know. I'm not looking at the bookmark.
Literary, right?
Literary?
Literary.
Yeah, there you go.
Literary, Media B Literary. They gave it a 5 out of 5, and they said that it was an ultra modern horror thriller.
Hey, the North Coast Journal liked it too.
Yeah, no, I saw
yeah?
that too. That
Oh,
was
nice.
that's what we like posted up. Like when I first found out about it, like Facebook popped up, hey, you might like this. North Coast Journal, blah blah blah, all this other stuff, like dripping with evil. I'm like, I'm sold. I gotta talk to this guy.
Dripping with evil. That sounds a little moist.
It's a moist.
All right, so now I did like with local stuff. I have a hard time because I tried to watch the Welcome to Willits movie.
Wait,
And I say,
Welcome to Willits.
I
Okay.
say
That's a horror movie, right? Yeah, I heard about it.
Where did you try to see that on?
there's another comment in chat that this is for you because we need to know. James Cox wants to know in chat if this book can be found on Amazon.
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
You can
That's
find
why
it
I
on
bought
Amazon.
That's why
What
I
other online
bought it
websites can
on
we find this
Amazon.
book on?
My publisher, that's Black Rose Writing, and it's Barnes and Noble. It's in Barnes and Noble.
Oh, nice.
You can also buy it locally at Northtown Books in Arcata.
Oh, nice.
At Eureka Books, at the
Nice.
Booklegger in Eureka, at Rainy Day Books in Fortuna,
Awesome.
at King Range Books in Garberville, And you can get it at the Peg House in Leggett. You
Wow,
can get
I
it,
love the
Peg House.
and the,
That is awesome, dude.
with the bookstore and Vinyl Cafe in Fort Bragg. It's around, and it's on Amazon,
Yeah,
and
the
it's
rest
on
of
Barnes
it's
and
in Fort
Noble, and it's everywhere, man.
All right, so you have a slight accent.
So it's
Where are
in
you
the
from?
triangle.
Do I? I've just been drinking. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. So you
I think I'm starting to slur.
It's
Sorry,
the
guys.
Irish. It's the Irish artisan.
Irish
bar.
is coming out of me, man.
No,
It's
bro,
turning
you
him
need to
Irish.
see me and my other brother, not this one.
Hold on.
We get drinking. We get.
We
tiny
need
talk.
to address the trebly in the room because
What?
you've never watched any of our episodes, but every time I've ever mentioned anybody who has a beard and a fedora, because I used to watch what's that guy?
Oh, what's that? Guy?
The Amazing Atheist. You ever heard of him on YouTube?
No.
Why are we not talking about the?
You look just like him.
That's not true. Actually.
James.
I am an amazing atheist, by
You're
the way.
probably much more handsome.
James Cox in chat there. The title of the book is called Nepenthe. And you can see it right there on the
Nepenthe?
screen. We have it.
It's kind of
It's a quote from Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven.
We have it full face in front.
also Greek.
You can write it down from there. That is kind. The I is in
Hey
red,
guys,
so it's hard to see.
we will
Kind,
share
as
the
in, like,
link.
The kind,
Not
man.
the kind. I thought it was the kind because when Facebook
Just
showed it, it
kind,
said the.
kind,
but kind.
Nepenthe.
Did
like-
they say the?
Yeah.
Oh, that
When I
makes
saw
no
it,
sense.
it
Yeah,
said
that's not in the
the.
poem, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a bunch
They don't
of
even know how to
assholes.
read it.
Fuck Facebook, dude.
You know what I mean?
But that's it.
Fuck
we
you,
are
Facebook.
live on Facebook, so maybe.
Mark Zuckerberg's a
So-
robot. We all know it. The result.
So that said,
We should
So-
get back to your book.
the happy forget or the nice forget is basically what it rolls down to.
Yes,
You know.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
a gal is trying to leave her hectic life with her daughter, and comes to Humboldt County, which is the worst place you can go to be cool.
Well, they're like
You know
they're
what?
like idealist hippies. You know, she's got
Oh,
dreadlocks.
yeah.
She works. They're in San Diego. She works at the co-op, and she's like always dreamed of living in the redwoods and like communing with nature and teaching her daughter how to organic garden. And she wants to go and like pick mushrooms and live off the land and live in the forest. And she has this idealized view of everything. And she knows this guy.
Damn hippie.
He's a scumbag, kind of. His name's Coyote. And
Yeah,
he
Coyote.
yeah, and he's got this big like 100 light indoor grow like way out by like Xenia, like on the Trinity
Yeah,
border.
guys,
and
if you
stuff,
know where
you know?
Xenia
border,
is,
yeah.
it's in the bumfucks, and you got
It's
a pretty
in bump,
rough.
yeah, out,
It is deliverance music, but with
exactly.
less people that speak English.
Yeah.
So she goes out there and takes over this job, and she's all organic, and the thing runs on this huge diesel generator, spewing out smog, and it's all like hydroponics, so it's all runs on chemicals, and they use these nasty pesticides she hates. So she's basically doing everything that she hates.
Right.
But their goal is to like get enough money to buy their own little piece of land and like have an organic farm and do all this. But their principles have been compromised by even coming out there. So I mean that's the basic setup.
So it's
So
kind of
now-
like it's kind of like a means to an end at this
Well,
point.
so you're
Right.
a farmer, right?
Yeah,
Like you have a farm,
I do.
like for real, guys, not fucking around.
Without
No,
too
I
much
do.
extra-
Yeah, I live in
without too much
Edinburgh. I gotta.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
actually grow your crops and stuff, and you do the work, so you know what it's like. With
he
the-
grows
the-
corn.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Corn and tomatoes. Corn
And
and
you know,
tomatoes.
a lot of people really like the gardening aspects and stuff, and the nature. There's a lot of nature in it, and like
You
I
know-
talk about the local flora and fauna and all that kind of
I
stuff.
do want to kick out here, guys. Not everyone that has a farm in Humboldt County is a pot grower.
Right.
Just saying.
Well,
It's
Hoover
legal
likes the
now,
way,
so you probably grow
Hoover
some,
likes,
but
Hoover likes the way you work on that cigar, by the way.
yeah, well, Hoover is
That's
kind
why
of
his,
from.
his last name is Hoover.
Right? Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Good to see Anyway, so you do know
the
about
place
farmhand.
used to
You
be
know how
a
to do-
commune back
Okay.
in the 70s, and a little boy drowned there. And his mom was high on acid.
Yeah.
It's kind of complete freak out, and now the place is like kind of cursed, and it's haunted. So it's a haunted pot grow. Meanwhile, the neighbors, what do you think the neighbors are like? Tweakers, total gun freak tweakers. You know what I mean? And
Live in trailers,
so-
have 2 teeth.
well, the
apiece.
one guy's like really success. He's the heavy in it is Diesel. His name is Diesel. But you really feel for this guy. He's really tried to. He's a meth dealer,
Don't get
but
turned
he's
on,
got a
Jeff.
nice crib. He's like been building it himself, and
His name is Diesel.
Yeah.
Turn it on. Is his first name Vin?
Is-
Because that would
wait,
really
no, his first
It's
name-
Diesel Dan because he's
His-
got a
His first name is Sour. Sour Diesel.
Sour D. Yeah. No, he's a diesel mechanic. He's
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's why he's successful.
He's
That's what he
constantly
does.
saying, you know, like, oh, I've got what's the word? It's not degree. It's I'm a certified diesel mechanic. Like that was the line. You know what I mean?
Alright.
Like, well, you know, I'm a certified diesel mechanic, and everyone kind of rolls their eyes because he's saying it every 5 minutes.
Right.
But
right.
he's a good guy, but his son DJ was living up here in Eureka, but came down there to try to get in on all the green rush, but it's just not working now because the prices have dropped, everything's fucked, and so he's got a girlfriend who's pregnant, and Diesel is just ecstatic that he's going to be a grandfather, and he's really into like this thing, and he's trying to like help them and get their shit together, but DJ just is like Diesel was when he was young. He wants to do meth, he wants to make money quick, and he's violent. And he's angry, and he's, you know, fucking crazy. So these are their neighbors that they have to deal with.
I do have a question.
And everything comes together.
When you get that done. My question for you is: do you get in the explanation as to why the prices dropped? Because I think a lot of people around the country that don't have legalization don't understand.
Yeah, I talk about it. I do talk about it a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
I'm-
Oh, I talk about
It's
the
actually
way.
important.
All right,
to
this
them.
book takes place 2 years ago, maybe
alright.
3 years ago now. So it's
that
not
was-
like it
that
is
was
now.
even-
Like the prices aren't like they are now. It's like $500 a pound or something.
Well, it used
I
to
mean,
be
it's just
like-
fucking
That was,
retarded.
that was even before like Colorado and Oregon.
So
even
this
got
all
license.
happening, like, in the book, Colorado and Washington are illegal, but California still hasn't done it yet.
Right.
But the medical is driving the prices down.
Right.
So there's a lot of desperation, and
'Cause we were
you
legal
see
medical
that. You
before.
see these people in the hills that are like, their whole lives are fucking ruined.
Well, I mean,
now.
that's something that's actually happening now.
That's what I mean.
currently.
It's even
yeah.
worse now.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
it's
it's
fucking
crazy.
crazy.
But at the
is
same time,
a book I was writing, like, and I'm still working on it, like, fucking 5 years ago,
Right.
was based on the same concept, but not horror.
Well, I mean, it's
I'll talk to you about it later.
I mean, to be
I think
to be
you'll
like
like
a devil's advocate
I might
here.
never finish it, but
You know, to be like a devil's advocate. You know, I mean, like
can talk about that.
we had
Yeah.
we had we've had all these,
Get some
you know,
pointers for you.
we've had all these
Because-
farmers and stuff like that, even without the legalization. You know, and then now that the legalization has actually taken place here in the state of California, we have seen a lot of them starting to diminish because of the price, the cost, and everything else that has to go into it through the state and everything. And also, you know, state and federal regulations don't really see eye to eye, so there's still that huge controversy between the two.
well, yeah. I mean,
But
You don't
but,
think that the IRS is gonna fucking audit the shit?
Oh, no, of course.
Oh, they
Of
are.
course they are. Of
They
course they are. Of course they
hey,
are.
first of all, I'm gonna say this right
but
now.
hold on.
This is the most political I'm gonna get on this podcast, aside from fucking talking about guns. Pot should never have been illegal. I am
Well, that was
deathly.
a bunch of
I am
bullshit. Yeah, it's
deathly
been like that.
allergic to pot. It should never have been illegal.
Well, I mean,
In my
there's
opinion.
a lot of
Definitely.
there's a lot of things to be
I
able
would
to.
die if I smoked it.
There's a
They were making rope out of hemp, and then
Yeah.
DuPont invented plastic.
Right.
And then DuPont's like, oh,
But
let's
we're
make
not-
marijuana
Right,
illegal.
let's
And
reel
like,
it back
it's
to the
about
par-
plastic. It's
let's
about
reel it
ruining
back. Let's reel it back to the scary stuff.
But,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
like to get back.
No one wants to hear this
to,
hippie crap.
to get back to the book, what I was saying, like, you know,
Humble.
we've seen this diminish in the personal farmers of, you know, California and everywhere else, you know, because of the statewide legalization. I mean, it wasn't when we all decided to say, hey, like, let's make it legal within our state. I mean, wasn't this to be already expected? I mean, making it legal was saying, hey, government, we give you the control to be able to do what it is that we're already doing behind your back and underneath your feet. But now we're just.
I didn't vote for it.
Well,
Yeah.
but I mean, like,
I wasn't for it.
is it? But with legalizing that though, isn't that what we're already saying?
Well,
though, like, I mean, isn't that what we put
Hold
ourselves?
on.
We
This
put
sounds like the
ourselves.
scary
We
stuff.
put ourselves.
We're going back to our
into.
Super
no,
Bowl
because
show that wasn't supposed to
hold on.
happen.
I did have something to say about that, and I do want to actually get in on that with you. Is the reason that it got legalized
God, of course you do.
is predominantly because people in North, like Humboldt, like people don't realize our counties, the Emerald Triangle, they heavily relied on the illegalization or pot being illegal.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Because millions of dollars were brought into this town. completely dried
In the
out.
rural areas,
not-
it's even worse. It's even
Yes.
harder.
And it's
not why
I mean,
pot
New England's
is
a
illegal.
humble
That's
state
not-
here,
that's
and
not-
all.
that's
and
no,
like
no, no,
That's not
Target.
why
no, no.
pot got legalized, though.
No, but why it got legalized is because the people who buy it and don't grow it heavily in the southern region of the country, where the two major cities are, all voted for it. And because they are the largest population base, they got what they wanted. And
Right.
we got screwed.
No,
Yeah.
no.
All
I mean,
overnight.
Within a sense, you're right. Within a sense, you're right. But at the same time, like pot within itself, marijuana, weed, it got legalized due to the fact that there is no negative effect other than eating and going happy from smoking marijuana. In your case, unless
That's
in your case,
literally not true.
no.
You can over imbibe on it.
No, you can't.
It
Hold
sucks
on,
that you're
hold on,
allergic to it, but
hold
it
on.
helps a lot of
If
people.
you're not pot actually has more medicinal reasons
Jesus
than
balls.
anything else, and on top of that, marijuana.
It's the devil weed.
Marijuana outweighs alcohol and every other accent to where, like, why shouldn't marijuana be legalized? If we can drink alcohol, if we can purchase alcohol, and they have all these effects, mind altering and DUIs, and all
Right.
this
Legalize
other stuff.
PCP.
Stop.
You know what I mean?
Angel
no
dust
more
needs to be legalized.
I'm saying,
politics.
all I'm saying, this is the reason why
Jesus
marijuana
fuck.
got legalized, is because there is.
This is why Vanishing Gates is no longer a show.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
Welcome to
Hey,
Vanishing
politics.
Pot Gates.
Let's talk about your book.
You want me to read a
Alright,
passage?
Yes. Well,
Fine.
read an offensive
Fine.
passive. We go somewhere that's
Read it.
offensive instead
See
of.
if I can find it.
Being ridiculous
I'll say
to everybody
marijuana
else.
is safer than alcohol, and that's why I got legalized.
Oh my god. This should never have been illegal in the first place. You're arguing
it's
against
true.
nobody.
That is true. That is true.
It's legal now, so
That
who
is true.
cares?
But it's
It
illegal
must
all
have
around the
been
world.
good, but it's
all-
legal
all-
now.
It's illegal all around the world. We're the
Oh,
only place
man,
that is
that's
actually
not
legalized.
true.
Name one place.
Switzerland.
No, it's not.
The
It's all over
Netherlands,
Europe, man.
It's all-
Europe, Germany's legalized it. Everybody.
the Middle East.
I mean, other than like certain
Ireland.
other than like actual like certain
England.
districts.
South America.
Nevada.
No, whoa.
All right,
Whoa,
so wait,
that's
we
a
want to
laughing
bring
matter within
back
itself.
to the book, guys.
New Mexico. I mean, what?
Nevada's the worst, bro.
New Mexico.
Nevada's the worst. Like, you get caught with a seed. I mean,
No,
it's
it's
like,
legal there, dude.
Well, I mean, before
I know.
before-
I know.
when you
It
got
was
caught-
the worst.
Yeah, like if
you'd
you
have to
got
like
caught
drive
with-
through it.
Taco!
If you got caught with a seed, it was like manslaughter for a seed.
Taco,
Like it was.
breathe
it was
deep. He's
horrible.
gonna read
It
from
was
his book.
horrible.
Hopefully, a very offensive passage, so we can
Yes,
bring it back
please,
to what we're
please
all
do,
about.
please do. Bring
Oh, you want an
back,
offensive passage?
Yeah, bring
Is
back
it?
the
No, wait.
Bring back the
Not
horror.
Jared from Subway.
Not politically
or
offensive,
Stephen
if you
King,
would.
end of it, or middle of it.
Well,
but
maybe
something
Stephen King
terrible.
ended it a little bit.
Middle of it. I mean,
And
Screw the
all right, you guys ready?
loser.
Okay.
all right, here we go.
Calendula was eating Rebecca's pussy, working his tongue through the wet folds, lapping at her juices, her ass gently cradled in his hands, her legs wrapped around his neck, the softness of her inner thigh pressed against his cheek. He slipped a finger into her. She moaned and grabbed him by the hair, taking a clump into her fist and rubbing against herself against him. He took his free hand from her ass and slid it up over her hip into her left breast, caressing it, feeling her nipple harden beneath his fingers. She arched her back, one arm bent behind her head, the other gripping his hair tighter in her fingers until it pained him. But the pain was nothing. He was so enthralled by her coming orgasm. She smelt of earth and fruit, a salty, slightly sea-tinged taste, and pot. She smelled and tasted a lot like pot. Reeked of it, actually. He extended his tongue fully into her, burrowing his face between her thighs, the taste and smell of weed overpowering now as she began to writhe and moan, her legs suddenly tightening around his neck, her grip on his hair like a vice. And now he was fucking her with his tongue, stretching it as far as it would go. Then he panicked, for something inside her had clamped onto his tongue with what felt like tiny teeth.
Was the Bigfoot?
Fangs. And it would not let go. It began to tug on his tongue, yanking it painfully. He struggled, pulling backwards as whatever was inside her stretched his tongue out to an impossible length. She bucked like a horse, both hands now gripping his hair, his tongue swelling with the trauma. As his mouth filled with blood, and he felt his tongue beginning to tear, he opened his eyes and saw it wasn't Rebecca at all. It was something hardly human, though definitely female. A demon of some sort, mewling and cackling, half woman, half plant, green with glowing red eyes. sharp teeth and great curved horns. Branches extended from it, swaying like the tentacles of an octopus, with Venus flytrap-like pinchers on the ends, snapping open and closed. He struggled and was just able to crane his head up high enough to see huge bat-like wings blooming from her back. Black and leathery, they began to beat. Then another vicious tug sent his face slamming against her pubic bone. His tongue was ripping now, torn at the edges, and affixed only by the thick center muscle. And there was another scent, behind the Ricapot, something putrid and rotten, like garbage or death. Yeah. And a thick, viscous slime was oozing from her, coating his face and burning his eyes. Her lips went black and expanded into a great maw, chomping, slurping, her cunt growing bigger and bigger, till it swallowed his face, pulling him into her. As his tongue was ripped free from his mouth, his head was consumed by her pussy lips, gobbling at his neck and working on his shoulders, and he could feel her rising up. He sensed her great wings flapping and lifting up, airborne, as he hung down below, flailing and kicking, his feet screaming, tongueless, within her. He awoke on the grow room floor, surrounded by plants, the musky dank miasma of weed coating his mouth and throat. How had he gotten here? The last thing he remembered was going to the back shack. Yeah, he'd been going to the back shacks.
I mean,
I
why
got
not right now?
Why not on Vanishing?
No, you shut the fuck up for a second.
I got two things to say. Okay. One. Am I the only one with a chub right now? I highly doubt it.
I'm glad I have a cigar to smoke right now. That's all I have to say.
And we went from, and then my second thing is like we went from Vanishing Gates to like 66 Shades of Red. Okay, like that was just like.
You know what? I will say, have you ever read Laurel K. Hamilton?
No.
She writes the Anita Blake vampire
How
series.
is that where you go with this?
I didn't say this is not erotica, and there are a couple
no.
sex scenes, but this is like
This is not erotica.
Yeah, and there's not that many sex
I
scenes.
will say-
but those sex scenes that are in there.
All I
are
know
badass,
is,
okay?
I never want to lick
hey.
a grow chick's pussy out ever in my life.
I was gonna say, all right.
What do you do for a living? Well, I trim weed.
thank
I'm like,
you.
okay,
Well,
cool.
yeah,
I'm gonna
don't
go over
worry
here
about it.
away from
Yeah.
you. What's wrong with you? Jesus balls.
So what I was gonna say was,
I'm pretty sure there's one of Jesus' balls
I used to
going on.
No.
Yeah, no.
Those
Yeah.
are Satan's lips.
Yeah.
What I was gonna
Oh,
say was,
goodness.
I read my mom introduced, our mother introduced us, or me to
That's
an
a
author.
really weird way for
Introduced
you
us
to
to
go
an
with
author
Yeah,
called
you-
Laurel K.
this. You
Hamilton.
bring up mom
Like,
first.
And
bring up
she
mom
writes about
first.
vampires and werewolves and stuff like that. Well, her story starts off, the Anita Blake's this badass necromancer, and she's like fighting and all sorts of stuff. By like, I think the fourth book, it basically becomes porn. Because everything is revolving around sex at one point.
Shaking, thinking I haven't read this in
And
a while.
the books were really, the books were good, even though they had like, in my opinion, way too much freaking sex. Because the thing is what bothered me about it was that she was just like this badass, and then all of a sudden it was just all revolving around sex,
You can
which is
never
what
have too
bothered
much
me.
sex.
So what I'll say about your book right now is that is not as graphic as some of the things I've read in books that what people have in book clubs.
No, not at
Like
all.
in like legitimate book clubs that they like put out there, like get stamps on and crap like that. So if anyone's out there concerned that that is going to be bad, there are books that are not considered like major adult books that younger adults could read.
Hey,
that no
Bret
one would
Easton
worry about.
Ellis' American Psycho is a classic, man. It was like
Oh,
a
yeah,
bestseller.
yeah, absolutely.
When you can go and buy it anywhere. I mean, look at the graphic sex in that, or any of his books. Glamorama, man.
Do not
Jesus.
judge him based on that reading, because there are books that are way more graphic and way worse.
Judge him.
and
Hold
they-
on. Wait. That
they
would be a
don't
big
end
selling
with an
point.
awesome
So you think
demonic
it's gonna be
plant.
a deal
Look,
breaker.
it's got pot. It's got sex. It's got fucking violence. It's got rock and roll. You want it.
It's got vaginas with pot teeth monsters.
Right.
It's
but
everything you wanted.
I would like to consider it very literary. You know, I consider it
You know what,
like
though?
Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. Because, no, I'm serious, dude. I'm dead fucking serious, man.
Funny way to
It's
put it.
about people who want this idealized life. They want to farm. They
Yeah.
want to live off the land.
Right.
And they're
I
faced
mean,
with these obstacles.
I can see
They're
that.
faced with this violent opposition, and they have to, you know what I mean? And they,
I mean, from
I
what
will say,
from
what-
what I
and it's
know
a
where-
tragedy. There's a
from-
great tragedy.
From what I know of the book already, I'm faced with a whole lot more than just pot growing right now. Like,
Yeah,
I'm-
you will never stick your tongue in another
Yeah.
girl's pussy ever.
No, I will actually, hoping
it'll
for,
bite part of the
you
tongue
know
off?
what I mean? Like, I mean,
I want to live this experience.
Yeah, I mean, that would be-
Rocco, you need to sober up just a
I will
little
say-
bit.
maybe,
will say
maybe.
that I thought, like, when you were reading everything, I was laughing at first, but then as you got in like the detail, I stopped laughing because I was just listening.
Yeah.
Because the way you wrote that was really great.
I mean, it was really good.
I was in
People
the
like
description.
it, man. I'm
Yeah,
getting
no,
great
I mean,
reviews.
it
I
was-
mean,
I
from,
mean,
I
like
was-
legitimate.
I was in that
reviewers.
description just listening to the monster. Like
This
that is a
needs
cool
to be
fucking
a
monster.
book
Like right
on
away.
its
Oh, it's got the H.P. Lovecraft thing with the
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
loving about
Yeah,
it. I love
yeah.
I love H.P. Lovecraft, so that was great for me. I was like, I love this
Everyone
monster.
loves squid
That is an
pussy.
awesome
No,
monster.
I
dude.
absolutely love.
Squid pussy.
I absolutely love the
Like-
way that you had gone through and actually
Yeah,
brought out the
well
detail
said.
and wrote about that. You know, I mean, like I'm gonna read this book, and I'm probably gonna end up reading this book in like in a day.
You're gonna fall
Like,
asleep
it's-
masturbating that book for like
No,
2
I
hours.
won't. I
Don't
won't.
even
I
lie.
won't.
You're only gonna read that one part over and over
Oh
and
no,
over.
no, not at all. Not
Bite
at
my
all.
tongue off, baby. Bite my
Not at
tongue
all.
off.
Not at all. Not at all. As sexy as that sounds. As sexy as that sounds. Not at all. But no, like, I mean, if you can go into detail that much throughout a sex scene, you know, and turn it into some sort of horror effect where, like, he's just not even, like, where he thought he was completely into something that's completely just out of this dimension and everything else.
It's a dream. You know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, but you brought a dream so real life, you know. And if you could put that much detail into that, I mean, I can only imagine what else you've done with the book. I can't wait to read it. I really can't.
Sweet.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
it's gonna
I
be
think
it's gonna be amazing.
To be honest, the writing was great. Like
It
everything,
was.
everything. Like at first, it was kind of fun to me because it was, you know, it was one of those like
Well, the
12-year-old
first line
boys
is
laughing.
he's eating.
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, how you gonna start out like that? How you gonna start out like that?
Jumping
you know?
into it.
That is not the first line of the book, by the way.
No,
I would
no,
like-
no.
I'm just saying.
Far
He
into the
was
book.
like on
That's
chapter 4.
That's
I can
like
give you
throw
that.
a
I think it
baseball.
was chapter
and-
4 that
The
just
lines
goes
were
on.
good.
I agonized over
The
my first
writing
line.
is
Let me
good.
read the first line to you guys, right?
Yeah.
Rebecca Hawthorne couldn't deny it anymore. Her little girl had grown strange since they moved to Coyote's compound. And it wasn't just her obsession with ghosts and her refusal to use the outhouse, or her compulsion to find all the dead ravens in the forest and play with them like they were toys, stacking them up into shimmering black pyramids, their wings entangled, beaks hanging open. No, it was something deeper.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the first line of the book. It's literary, man.
That's the
It's,
first-
it's,
the
it's
first paragraph.
literature.
No, most definitely. Most
He
definitely.
actually
It's gonna be a fun-
does
It's gonna be a fun book to read.
Use the English language aside from just getting your
Wow,
tongue bitten off
That
by
was a great
ghost
compliment.
pussy. Just saying.
M in chat gave me a Clive Barker moment.
I was
Thank
really-
you, Evan.
Great. M.
Thank you, M.
That's
Thank
my
you, M.
mother.
I
Yes,
don't-
that's our mom.
Thank you.
Yeah, you should
I don't
thank
want-
that because if she liked it, then
Thank you, Jay and Jack's mom.
Never,
fuck.
never do I want.
I don't know
She's
why
got
your mother is like.
never do I want.
My mom read this book, and I
My
tried
mother-
everything to not get her to read it.
my mother has
She, like,
watched
called me, she's
every
like-
episode of the show.
My mom's like, I bought it on Amazon and read it, and I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
Sorry,
never-
mom.
Never do I want your guys' mom to say Clive ever again.
that's cool. Your mom
Okay.
reads Clive Barker, man.
Oh,
She
hell,
reads
that's
Clive-
what I know about
she's
That's
got
awesome.
Shells, Clive
We grew up
Barker,
with
All
that.
right.
Dean Koontz,
Clive
Stephen
Barker.
King.
Sweet.
Every horror author you can think of under the sun.
All
She's
right,
got
I
So-
love you guys, dude. I'm at home here, man.
So an
Oh, yeah, no, you're
overall
totally at home,
for the
bro.
book
You're totally
is
at home.
Nice.
Gal takes her kid to go somewhere peaceful to raise a farm, gets hooked up with someone terrible, and then
Right.
supernatural, horrible things happen with weed grows and shitty people.
Because of the land
Yes.
that they're on.
And then hopefully there's a good ending.
Oh, don't
I highly
spoil.
doubt it.
Don't spoil,
I highly
but I
doubt it.
swear to
Don't-
God,
yeah,
if
don't
you-
say anything. Don't
if you
say
do-
anything.
Have you read the book
I
The
will
Cellar?
say,
Have you actually read this book?
The Cellar?
No,
Have
this
you read the
book.
book The Cellar?
Have you read this book?
What, Alice
He-
Obscura?
Yeah. Well, no, this one right here.
The book
He,
you wrote.
he wrote it. The one you wrote. Have you read the book The Cellar though?
Don't think I'm thinking of The Collector. I don't think I have read
Oh,
The Cellar.
please
Here's
don't
the-
end it like the
here's
Cellar.
the thing I will say
like
that I-
one.
Yeah, right.
I have to
Yeah, I
say-
like that one.
and as a huge
I
H.P.
like that
I
one.
Lovecraft
want to
fan,
read it.
No.
Is it horrific?
As
I like
It's-
fucked up
it's-
shit. I like
it is,
fucked up
but it's
endings.
fucked
I
up in the
like-
wrong way.
So-
yeah.
I will say there's one thing I have to
Yeah,
say,
it's
and it's not a spoiler because I haven't read the book yet, but I'm a huge H.P. Lovecraft fan. If you wrote based on something close to H.P. Lovecraft mythos, it will not have a happy ending
But
for
I
any
think-
of the
It
people.
has
You know
nothing
what?
to do with H.P.
From what,
Lovecraft.
Oh, well, then you're
from
good.
what I've read, hold on. From what I've read, you have some Lovecraftian tinges, like all of us who love horror. You have some Stephen King stuff. You have some Clive Barker-y stuff in there. I think I'm gonna really enjoy this book.
Oh, I'm gonna fly through it, dude. Like literally, like Monday, I got the day off. I got nothing to do. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna fly through this book on Monday.
Nice.
I'm gonna
Right.
read it from start to finish.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my
It's gonna
time.
be
I don't like to
amazing.
read a book in one go
Well,
because I don't read
can't
it all.
Not. I'm a speed reader.
I mean,
Well,
I got nothing else to do. What is there else to do? I mean,
well, I
I'm
mean-
gonna do laundry and I'm gonna read a book. You know what I mean?
I can
mean,
speed read, but the problem is, speed
Just
reading
read
is
it
you
twice.
miss a
Read
lot
it
of
3 times.
Or run out of Vaseline, then read it. And run out of more
You know what I
Vaseline,
mean?
then read it.
Dude, Vaseline doesn't work. You need to use olive oil, dog.
Hey,
You're not dedicated
it
enough.
puts the lotion on itself, okay?
It puts the lotion on his skin or it gets the hose
So-
again.
Exactly.
So you've never had an actual paranormal encounter, though?
Not that I know. I would.
Really?
All right, here's a question: is the Eureka Inn fucking haunted?
Okay.
What?
They need to get
we
some
can't
ghosts
say
in there.
that.
They
Hold on.
need to get
No,
some
I
ghosts in
can't.
that place.
I can't
'cause it
say
is a
that. I
spooky
can't
We're
place.
not
say
allowed to say that.
I
We
can't
do
say that.
have some be real.
No,
yeah, it's
I
haunted.
have be real. I have be real. But
I do too.
I honestly.
You know, there's stuff going on.
I see some
Hold
weird
on,
shit
hold
there,
on.
kind of. I
Hold
guess.
on.
Talk
maybe.
about
Okay, hold on.
Well, nothing too much.
I have
We
a
saw a
guess about it.
handprint on the fucking wall.
I
That
never,
was so...
I never got the okay. We did a
creepy.
show.
No,
at
okay,
Eureka Inn.
so
We did
even
a
with
Dude,
radio.
if that
That
place
even-
isn't haunted, they need to get some ghosts.
Even
I mean,
with-
it's
have
so
it. Okay.
creepy, dude.
Oh, it is.
All
So
the like
wrong there.
the
Oh, there's
oil
something going on
paintings
there.
everywhere.
Yeah,
With,
no.
Oh my God,
with
they're-
the, with the history that Eureka Inn has behind it, I would not doubt that there
Well,
are certain areas of that hotel that are haunted.
If you talk
Now,
to any
hold
beer
on.
distributor,
Hold on now. I have actually spent the night in the Eureka Inn, and I had a hotel room. I stayed the night in the hotel room. Not only did I do that, but I also went through and recorded the evening of the hotel room. Like, I recorded the entire evening, and there was nothing. I mean, I went through and there was literally nothing from the room. I stayed
So-
on the same floor that that we had the technological problems on the
Uh-huh.
floor, and then there was also the rumors and the stories of of women staying on that specific
yeah,
floor.
all of them are literally based around women. Basically.
Yeah, they really are. Like women feel highly uncomfortable around that.
My
around
wife
that
hates
floor.
the place,
yeah.
but it's
And-
kind of dirty and
but
grungy.
It's actually pretty clean. You'd be surprised.
it is
You
It's
guys
so
know about
old.
it.
When places
It
are
is-
that old.
it
Well,
is
they
very-
put so much money into it. The guys that own it now.
Like,
Well, they've
don't
been
get me wrong.
renovating it recently. Yeah, within the past couple of years.
Don't get me
Like
wrong. The
5 or 6
hotel,
years.
the hotel is pristine. Like, I absolutely love the room.
Well, I wouldn't say
love.
I dude, the
No,
health
no, I
department
would.
said the restaurant
I
was
would.
fucking awful.
Yeah, they shut it down for a reason.
They
yeah.
shut it down.
I actually would, because like I stayed in the rooms. I know what they are. I know how things were. Like the only like as a hotel stayer, and you know, as a patronage to the hotel, the only downfall that I had was that there was no coffee when I woke up.
That's
I mean,
fucked up.
that was
That's
you know what
a
I mean?
hate
That is
crime right
fucking
You
there.
know what I
terrifying.
mean? I mean, like to wake up.
I would never
And not
stay in a
only-
place and have coffee.
And not only was there not coffee in the
Especially
room,
your down payment you had to pay that night.
there, oh my god,
That
it
was
horrible.
retarded
It was
bad.
horrible. But like, there was no coffee in the room, and then when I went down to the service desk, there was no coffee down there. Like, I literally had to walk like 3 blocks to the nearest Starbucks to go get a coffee.
Now keep in mind,
And I
we
know that's
were
not
the
that far.
only paranormal
No,
show
I know.
to ever do a show live
we
from
were,
the Eureka
we
Inn.
were, we were with the permission
You know the
or
spookiest place I've ever
non-permission we
been? It's
had.
the National Hotel in not Grass Valley, but in Nevada City. You know it? Oh man, it's super.
Oh, dude, Nevada City.
Well, no,
Oh,
it's
my
like one of the
goodness.
most, supposedly one of the most haunted places in the world. Like,
No.
oh, there's tons.
Not even. Not even.
I mean, if you just Google it, it's crazy. I mean, all the
Yeah.
ghost hunters and all those fuckers are always there.
there's actually.
But
a,
I stayed there, and man, that place it's straight up falling apart. Like when you walk up the steps, man, they're like fall. I don't know how they can keep it open. And there's like water stains and black mold. It's a terrifying place to stay, just because it's like you take your own life in risk by staying there.
I wonder if you lick the black mold if you get like a discount. You might have a
And
much
it's
more
creepy.
paranormal
And it's
encounter.
like sold
You look
out.
at black
And it's like
mold.
hip. All these like young people are there, like
Right.
sitting on the balcony
It's a very,
drinking.
it's a
and
very
shit.
tourist attraction town.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the hotel. I mean, it's literally it's fucked
Right.
up, man.
If-
It's
if
like
you-
dangerous.
if
Like
you-
dangerous.
If you
to stay
actually
there.
go, about another 50 miles east of Nevada City, there's actually there's an abandoned town. I can't remember the name at this point. It has been like 7 years since I've heard about this. But 50 miles east of Nevada
Kings
City
Beach,
on
Lake Tahoe.
no, it's not.
Yeah,
No,
same.
because you're going.
Northwest.
Because you're going back down the 50. If you stay on the 580, and well, they turned it into the 580. Back in the day, it used to be the 380. But But if you keep on going east, about 50 miles out of Nevada City, there's an abandoned town. It's an old western town now, and I mean when you get in there, western area, like there you got the saloon, you got the grocery, you know what I mean? Like it looks like something from like back in like the 1800s. And but nobody lives there.
I've heard about this place. Is it really that close there?
It's really that close. Yeah, no, it's
check that out,
really
man.
within the distance. Yeah, it's 50 miles east of Nevada City, and that place is like one of the most haunted place in Nevada, the state of Nevada.
Yeah, but Nevada City's in California.
I'm sorry.
Nevada City's in California.
Yeah, Nevada City's in California. Yeah. Into Nevada.
You go into Nevada. Yeah. But it's all you stay on that road. You don't get on the 80.
You do go on the 80, don't you?
Okay. That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, don't you know?
So it's 50 miles east on the 80.
Yeah, on the 80. But
that's like, I know where you're talking. I know all those towns, man.
Yeah. You go into
so it's in Nevada. I think it's called Boomtown.
No, it's just a little bit past. It's like the next city past.
Okay, yeah.
And but this city is completely abandoned, and it's so amazing because
it's like Burning Man.
It really is. Yeah. It really is because like you go in there and it's like it's nothing but a tourist attraction. Nobody lives there. Nobody goes through there. It is.
And it's the place they said that if you take an item from there, it will haunt you.
Yeah,
curse
it's the
you.
same city.
But they made it up.
Yes.
They made it up because so many people were taking shit that they're like, you'll get cursed if you take something from here. And then like people were mailing shit back, going, oh my god, I took a rock from there and now I'm cursed. Take it back. And like the Forest Service is like, we made that up just so people wouldn't steal shit, man. Because people were going in the saloon and like grabbing shit off. There's like liquor bottles and shit, right?
Exactly, yeah, and like even within the town they have like a deserted lake that was there that like way back in the day, like back in the 1700s and stuff like that. There used to be a lake, but there's no lake there anymore. But within the lake aspect, it actually relates to Folsom Lake there in Sacramento. Folsom Lake, at the bottom of Folsom Lake, there's there is a Mormon
mission,
a Mormon community. I mean, there was a community down in the bottom. Folsom Lake, before Folsom Lake was Folsom Lake, there was a Mormon community. There's housing, there's churches and stuff like that. But so like throughout the rest of the year, like. Folsom Lake, at the bottom of Folsom Lake, there is like housings and buildings. And
Yo,
stuff
Shadow
like that.
Swimmer, my buddy Shadow Swimmer. You guys like creepypasta?
Hey, Shadow Swimmer, how you doing?
Yeah, read Shadow Swimmer's work, man. Just Google Shadow Swimmer creepypasta. Great writer.
Hell
Great writer, man.
Looking for it.
But this
breaks the women next summer, right? Look at this sausage party.
This town is so like they base everything about like just like ghosts and like terror and horror if you stay there. And if you investigate, and like you said, if you take away from there, you're cursed and everything. It's very amazing when you hear the stories of the Nevadan people that talk about this place. It's very cool like when they talk about it because it's like they get you so intrigued about it. It's like one of those tall tales. And it's a really cool place. I can't remember the city name. I do apologize.
I got a name. The Hallbrook, you know that place? It's in Grass Valley.
Grass Valley, man.
And then it's old. It's actually
right off the 20 off of there.
It's
Highway 20.
No,
49.
It's right next to Nevada City, man. Like they're like part of the same thing. But they say it's the oldest running saloon because they never shut down during Prohibition. They kept just serving alcohol.
Just kept doing it.
Yeah,
fuck it.
I stayed at the same room.
We're on the West Coast. Fuck it.
That like Ulysses Grant stayed in and shit, man.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's supposedly haunted as hell. It's nice. They keep it up nice. It's old, but it's like you don't feel.
So have you
it's
ever
not
done,
dangerous.
Have
to
you ever
stay
done
in the
actual
fucking
like
place.
paranormal investigation? Have you used any?
No, I
like,
don't do any of that.
tools?
I don't. No. I'm just like a writer. I just like that.
Dude, I got tools. You want to do an investigation one day?
Hell yeah. I'll do anything.
We're gonna sit this out. We have.
I will do anything.
That's kind of like the Eureka Inn. It's kind of like the Eureka Inn.
No, I would love to. That sounds fun. I have a lot of friends who are really into it. Yeah. And stuff.
The original.
I'm just more of like a writer. Like I'm more like an artist. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I get it. I'm totally down. But you have that passion for what you're doing.
Right.
Like
I view ghosts metaphorically. I don't really look at them like the ghost in my book. are a representation of like the real hippie culture from like the 60s and 70s, because that's when that child had died. And it's like how, and I still see this today with a lot of
how the spirit of the mind would work.
well, it's a representation of how people get so into their own personal enlightenment. They want to like find Zen. They want to like do this or that. They want, you know what I mean, to gain themselves. But they end up ignoring their children.
Right.
They end up like letting the family. My biggest fear is of the family unit.
You wrote a psychological thriller, is what you did.
People call it a dark psychological thriller.
Yeah.
No, people call it that. A dark
Did you do that
psychological
on purpose,
thriller.
though? Was it like
Well,
paranormal or psychological?
Psychological,
Well, I mean,
absolutely,
okay,
absolutely.
good.
It's
Got
not
it.
really
Got
paranormal.
it.
Even
It's
from what he read, you would think that it would be psychological. You know what I mean? Like he's going, he's indulging himself into somebody that, you know, like.
I'm
Like,
gonna
he feels,
I don't know
he
that
feels-
psychologically a pussy would bite my tongue off.
Well, I'm just
No,
saying.
but it's a metaphor, man.
It's a metaphor.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
exactly.
got it, I got it.
Even from what he read is a psychological thing. Like
See, I'm
he's,
more of an
he's so indulged into what he's going, but
No,
it's
I got it.
completely the opposite of what he's actually
See,
in.
I'm more of an
You know?
I'm more of an into the moment writer and speaker. Like I like to communicate directly instead of through pathways. I like to read pathways.
Right.
I like to read that writing, so I'm down for it. But when I do stuff like that, for me, it's like I want to have an instant. My communication is this.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's gratification within its finest. You know. I mean.
oh
it's,
yeah, instant gratification.
Instant I mean, like,
Irish Norwegian ginger.
well, I mean, that's really what it is. I mean,
Instant
it's logical to it to the full extent. You know, you're getting everything completely down to what it is for what it is and how it is. You know, like there is no in between. There is nothing else to read behind the lines.
Yeah, I like gray logic, whereas there's
exactly.
open logic.
Yeah.
So I like both.
You know, but what
I'm
he's
gonna
writing
enjoy
about
your damn
though
book.
is like.
I think you people
I've
like
been
it.
reading it already. I
I can't
further
wait.
because
I
of
can't
time.
wait. Actually, you know
constraints.
what?
And I'm really glad that the locals like. I was terrified that like I was gonna be like, you're exploiting our community. You're like, you know what I mean, using it, and like people who hadn't read the book. I know, like this one, like I was on Facebook and this lady's like, who's this ass hat who's trying to exploit our community? And I was like, I know her. I'm like, hey, it's me. I know you. And I'm like, here's you want a free book? That's what I say. You want a free fucking book? I gave her a book. Then the next time I saw her, she's like, you're a genius. You captured it perfectly. Now when anyone asks what it's like to live in Southern Humboldt, I give him your book. I say, if you want to know what it's like to live in Southern Humboldt.
Oh yeah,
Read
no,
this book.
like let me tell you something, guys. Like, okay, so you have people watching the show. People watch the show not just in
The place
even in
Piercy?
an area.
Or the writer Piercy.
The place Piercy.
Yeah.
Like this would be
Piercy?
like the
Fear and
Piercy
loathing in
and like
No, man, it's
Ruth
the
and-
Piercy's right
No,
on the
we
fucking
have
goddamn.
viewers in
I'm
like
talking-
Canada.
I'm talking like out
there?
really out there,
Out
as far as you can go. Like it's a All right, I have a fictionalized place that has no name. There's a little store and it's called the Last Chance Cafe.
No, I can't see. I can't.
See my balls.
You all will be different. You all will be different.
We're always different.
So
Every time I take a sip of whiskey, you guys look different.
Oh God. Me
So
too.
okay, so you're not talking about for people that
Piercy,
know
California.
the area. There's a place called Piercy, California, down here in southern.
Which is a
Humboldt.
mystical, magical place.
It is absolutely. I mean, that's like
Especially if you want to hide a
what-
body.
We have what is that place called?
Murder Mountain.
No. That little,
Literally.
No. Well, I know we have Murder Mountain, but
I call it Homicide Hill.
When
I like. That's
oh,
why I got.
that's a good one. I like that one.
I
Because
don't
I didn't
wanna
want to
give
be
enough
like,
credit.
I'm not
I like
gonna
that
say
one.
Murder Mountain,
no,
like you know
but
what I
I
mean?
don't
Like,
want to give it
oh.
enough credit.
We have Piercy.
Homicide Hill. We
yeah,
cut it down a
exactly.
little
Well,
bit.
I mean, I don't like
Lower
want to get
its
like
ego.
people mad at me. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
For people that actually like know about like like social stamina and everything else, it's a mystery spot. That's down in the Piercy area, right?
Yeah, the
Are
mystery
you talking about
spot.
Confusion Hill?
Yeah, Confusion Hill. Thank you. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I love the
Mystery
Confusion
spot. Actually, I think
Yeah.
it's
It's in
Santa
Santa
Cruz.
Cruz.
Yeah. Confusion Hill is up here.
Confusion Hill, man. Yeah, man.
I've been to both. I've been to both areas. It's wonderful. It's a great
You ever
experience.
take the train ride at Confusion Hill?
I have actually.
Nice.
Yes,
That's
yes,
awesome,
I have. It's absolutely wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. If you ever have the chance, please do. But yeah, no, like I was kind of thinking that that's where your book was kind of based off, was right around that vicinity.
No,
Are
man,
you-
way
are you
off the
talking-
101. I'm talking
Are you
like
talking about
get
more
on Alder
east?
Point
Are
Road.
you talking, all
Go
the
east as possible, man.
Ooh, don't
Go
do too
east
much,
until
don't
you're
do too
in the
much.
corner of Humboldt, Trinity, and Mendocino.
Yeah.
And then it's a fictionalized place.
Alder Point
And
Road.
I make a fictionalized place in that area,
Right,
man.
right.
Bigfoot country, man.
Oh,
You know,
Kenton
dude.
Palm.
middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Kenton Palm,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I didn't
I
want to
used to
say
live
that.
in
Let's
Louisville.
not put that
Absolutely.
out
I
there
didn't know
too
it was
much.
that far out. I'm sorry.
That
I'm
far
sorry.
out,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
That's
all
far-
the
Yeah,
Point
as
Kenton
far
Palm.
out as you can go.
Like I
That's
said,
You know what I
right.
mean? That's where it takes place.
Like I said before the show, you know, I coming in here
Jack.
blind. I didn't
I'm
know.
tired.
I didn't know
Me
one
too.
word from what we're coming
I
in
gotta drive
here.
home.
You know, for myself, and so
Well, it's the
I'm trying
back
to.
hills,
Yeah.
man.
That, that's great. That's great.
And I
Yeah,
call it a
right,
place
right,
with
right.
no name.
That,
It's
that
a
is-
place
going,
that they're
so
on
you
dirt
gotta
roads
have
with
time,
no names and a place
Get
with
too
no
tired
names.
to drive.
Yeah, they're
You know?
most
Alright.
definitely Ken Palm.
Step over.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Oh, you guys gonna keep
you know
going?
what? We are getting to that hour
All
mark. We're a little bit over, and I did really want you to sign Jack's and mine
Breasts. Oh, books.
books.
I thought you
Yes.
said breasts earlier.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll sign your breast.
Why
Yeah,
do you
I
want me
thought-
to-
I thought-
why-
I thought
why
you
do
Only
guys
if you
wanted-
promise to get it tattooed on you.
I
Oh my
thought you guys
goodness.
wanted like chest signings. Like
I
some
think
people.
you just really want to see my nipples. That's kind
I
of.
really
that's
don't.
Kind of, that's kind of.
You know,
that's
you
kind
can
of
see
weird.
a person's breasts without their nipples
Kinda
being
weird.
involved.
I'm pretty sure you've
What's
seen
wrong
my
with
nipples
you?
before.
You were so close-minded.
That is
Paco.
so. That is so negative. So I
Why
was
is
wondering-
it
I would
negative?
love to sign your
I have
book.
2 of your books here. I grabbed them out of your bag, free willingly.
I
You
bought them for you.
stole.
I stole.
Out of
I
our
stole. I
guest
stole
bag.
these. I stole these.
These
out
are
of his
mine
bag.
now.
I am so
stole
sorry.
these. This is
I am so
just
sorry.
me.
Just
But
reach
I
into
was
his
hoping that you would
private
be able to
bag.
sign these here live on air for Jack and I, and not only that, make them, you know, a little sensitive to each of us. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, you want your name in there?
well, I mean, like,
You
you know,
want
like,
some-
make it to where.
Oh,
what
look,
you got?
he actually.
I just signed it.
curved
You want me
that
to write to
over.
you? What do you want me to
I
write?
want you to write to Jack. Yeah, to Jack on that one. To Jack.
To Jack.
Yeah, there you go. That one's Jack's right there.
If I can't sign your chest, I'll sign this. How's that sound?
This sounds wonderful.
So,
There we
guys,
go.
what we've accomplished in this show is
And he's
we
doing
talked
it
about
all
a really
in, like,
good storyline
amazing graffiti
and
script.
all sorts of other
Wow.
bullshit.
Are you
And we're
really
gonna-
sweating that
that's
much?
our usual
I
stuff.
think I'm wiping the beer off my
Is that what it is?
Yeah, you need
oh
more
my
beer.
goodness. I need more Jameson. Why does this keep on getting
Whoa!
more
What?
than
What?
Jameson?
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Yo,
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Whoa!
The Irish
Whoa,
are
the
whiskey,
Irish,
son.
The Irish,
The whiskey,
the
son.
the Irish Ederson.
Ishkibaha.
Water.
Water of life. Ishkibaha. Ishkibaha.
All I know is that I need more, but I
Or
don't all at the
much
same time.
less.
Clean your house, Zachariah.
Yeah,
Wright
Zach
me.
kills people
Zach.
with drones. No one
Zach,
cares what he has
you
to
know
say.
what? We have
Boom,
an
look.
autograph. What does that say?
Autograph
It says,
for
What does that
to
say?
Jack, if I can't sign your chest, I'll sign this for you.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Zachariah Wright, I don't know who you are, but, you know, why don't you clean your own damn house? And then once you're done, come clean ours. All
It's
right?
not a house. It's this fucking man cave garage, dude.
oh studio.
Studio.
Studio Raj.
Please, man.
And Zach, by the way, maybe you should clean your house with those drones you pilot, you bitch.
All right. Exactly.
Cheerful.
I like that you have the ring around the rosy rhyme here.
Yes. Well, I do every section starts with a work of literature, and then like a children's rhyme because like children are involved in the story.
Yes, there's a heavy storm coming. It's
Yeah, don't worry
fine.
about it. It's fine, Jack.
It's fine, fella. It's fine.
It's
I just
fine.
I thought it was
absolutely
interesting
fine,
considering
alright?
the history of it. Does it have any like bearing on the book at all, or is it just something you chose for like?
No, it absolutely does because it's about there's little kids involved.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm just wondering, you know,
Well, like
the-
about the black plague's
Yeah.
not in it or anything.
Oh, yeah, I was
But
wondering-
they're herbalist.
it's
She's
like
an herbalist,
disease.
and those are about herbs. You know what I mean?
The
And that's about using
herbalists
herbs.
Totally don't
to
take
fight,
advantage of kids.
If you actually look back on it, alright, the Black Plague, alright,
Ladies and gentlemen, Paco may be a slight.
Let's
bit
hear it. What's about
So
black plague?
inebriated.
the Black
I'm just,
Plague,
I'm
alright,
interested. I'm enthralled.
the Black Plague, alright, goes
Yeah,
back
we're
to-
like killing this bottle. Awesome.
Oh yeah,
Loving
we're
it.
killing that bottle. The Black Plague, alright, it goes all the way back to the herbalist, alright. So you.
He would pack that thing full of herbs. Man.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So when you read that book right there, all right. There's B. I'm done. I can't.
Yeah,
I
stop.
can't do this. I can't do this.
What do you want me to write to you, buddy?
You're about
I want
fucking.
you. Yeah. Let's do Paco. Yeah.
PACO?
Yeah, PACO. Yes, sir. Absolutely professional. If we have any
That's what I'll say.
professionalism,
You are an.
if we have any professionalism here on Vanishing Gates, it is this gentleman right here, Matthew Brockmeyer. Thank you, sir.
You got it.
And
Word.
in his book, Kind Nepenthe.
Panther.
Nepenthe.
The Panther.
Is it Nepenthe or Nepenthe?
You guys bicker amongst yourselves.
Tomato. All right. Tomato. Nepenthe.
It's a
Nepenthe.
book that we shared.
Take it however
with
you
the
will.
link.
All right. As long as it's through the back door. All right. So we have Paco. You are absolute professional. Much love, Matthew Brockmeyer.
Word.
And much love to all you guys,
Listen,
man. To everybody.
I am literally
Love, man.
I am gonna
Love
do
to
this,
Vanishing
but,
Gates viewers. Thanks
do
everybody.
you have a Facebook page?
Hell yeah, I do.
Oh
You
yeah.
have a Facebook page.
Facebook
Up your
page.
Facebook page.
Yeah.
All right. What can we get your Facebook page here?
Matthew Brockmeyer, the humble lycanthrope.
All right.
He also
And
does
I am the
creepypasta.
friendly neighborhood werewolf, man.
Where can they find you on any forum you write creepypasta if they wanted to see your
Just humble, just Google humble lycanthrope, and yeah. Oh, I have a www.matthewbrockmeyer.com, and it's links to all my short stories on the internet, not just creepypastas. I've got tons of short stories published by people that have them on the internet, and then also in anthologies and magazines. You can find links to them and stuff. I got a lot of short stories out there in the world.
And also, how do they follow you on social media, like Twitter and whatnot?
I don't do Twitter, but
don't do Twitter?
what I do is I go out on my deck, on my porch. I have a porch over like redwood trees. It's so nice, and I just scream whatever I'm thinking. So maybe you'll be able to hear it.
Listen.
Yeah,
Is that you
Like
right there?
this.
that is hella me right there, dog.
Hella listen.
Yeah. So keep your ears out. If you hear some screaming and howling, especially on a full moon, might be out on my deck, just tweeting.
Or
All right, so
masturbating.
minus these guys. Whoa, probably. But minus these guys,
I don't know.
what are your thoughts on Sasquatch?
Ooh, Sasquatch. Hey, we
I
really,
just have issues. All right, like
we
look,
really need to do
hold
this
on.
I got some
Sasquatch
friends.
episode.
Before we
really
get
need.
done
I know
this rabbit
people.
hole.
I know people that are real hardcore believers.
I do have to get
And
going.
so I
Time.
respect them. I have a lot of
Step over.
respect.
All right, is that you two right there?
That's
Check
me.
it out.
That
I'm
right
gonna
there?
say
Yeah.
goodbye now.
All right,
Anything
Jack
else
is
to go
gone.
on?
Say bye, everybody.
I have a
Bye,
lot of-
everybody. I do have to go because I have a
Jack,
long drive and
next
I'm
week.
tired.
Awesome, dude.
Nice meeting you, man.
It was awesome.
It was a
Thank
great
you.
show. I want to thank you very much for
Oh,
being
here, let me
on
grab you
with
one of
us.
these magazines.
Thank you for the
You got one of
book.
these
Oh, yeah,
magazines?
Yes, sir.
And indeed, thank you for this book. I will be reading it.
This is a great magazine, Deciduous Tales. I got a story in here. It's in Arcata, in the day Kurt Cobain died. It's a cool story.
Can I leave with that also?
Hell yeah, you got one.
No, you don't get one.
Shut the
Put
freak
it
up.
in his bag. Let me give it to you, Paco.
I'm gonna steal
Um,
it out of his bag.
So like, look, I got a lot of respect for Bigfoot researchers.
Yeah.
I don't want to down, but I have problems with
That was it.
never finding any skulls or DNA and shit. And you know, I live in the woods, and we got bears. And I don't know.
Yeah, you got
I mean, we got a
black bears.
dude. A bear mauled my fucking dog a couple years ago. Messed it all up.
shit.
Yeah, it cost thousands of dollars in surgery.
Oh man.
Because we got apple trees and
Yeah,
stuff, and like the
oh,
bear will just
yeah.
go up in the apple tree and won't
Yeah.
come down.
Right.
It sits there for like weeks. It doesn't even come down. It just
Oh
sits
yeah.
in the apple tree.
It's very territorial too.
And so
Are
like,
you out of here?
Good night, everybody.
All right,
Good night,
Jack.
brother.
Love you. Bye.
Good meeting.
I love you.
I'll
Hey.
see you guys later, and I will read this.
One more tamale.
Tamale!
Tamale.
No one saw me, but it's good.
That's all right. They saw the hand clap of the.
They heard
tamale.
you. They heard you deep in their hearts.
Yeah.
Right there.
They
All
heard
right.
real deep.
so I mean, Humboldt is the home of sightings in the films and everything, but
That,
I don't know. I got a story about
Humboldt-
Bigfoot. I'm working on. I got a short story about Bigfoot that I'm.
Or you want to talk about?
County
'Cause
has
it's-
a lot of stories of Bigfoot, but you know, like area, you know, I mean, it comes from a tribal location.
Well, it literally doesn't. It actually originates
it
further
doesn't.
places.
No. Bigfoot within the California region. Bigfoot.
The Witchapeks talked about the ape,
Bigfoot
whatever.
comes
They didn't say
upon
ape, but
the
whatever they called it.
Witchapek
But
tribe.
it doesn't originate there.
Yes, it does.
And it would like kidnap people and shit. It wasn't
Yeah,
like
exactly.
just some friendly
And
thing.
you
It would
know
like
there's-
come and snap you up.
Do you know
man.
there's places like in other parts of America that
Sounds like a
actually the
fucking
tribes
barrow,
have
doesn't it?
problems
Like-
with that.
Sounds like a grizzly bear.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll listen.
Within the California region,
Okay.
Bigfoot originates within the Witchapek tribe.
All right, here's a question. All those fools back in Willow Creek, back in the 70s, that shit's all been proven fake, right?
Yes.
Well, no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That guy admitted to it. He's like, I fucking.
Yeah.
Okay, so Patterson
Oh,
Gimlin.
that-
Well, hold on.
Patterson
Here we go. Here we go.
No.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We gotta get into Patterson Gimlin. Oh, hold on. Look, Roger Patterson was known to be a fraud.
Right. Absolutely.
We know that a man came out and said that he wore the suit. That would be Bob Hieronymus.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But Patterson and the other guy said no, he wasn't part of this.
Right.
Now, there is circular footage. So the footage you see from their
Is that you?
camera is different
Uh-huh.
than what you see when it comes to, to what you see on video.
Right.
There is video that's less shaky and stupid and bullshit.
Right.
Okay?
But which comes from
All right.
the same region of the Patterson.
It comes from the
Gimlin-
same place.
Yeah, which is the Witchapek area.
Yes.
Yes. So that's all I'm saying is that within California region, the Humboldt County region, it comes from the Witchapek tribe area.
I mean,
of
listen. There's more to it. Like, first of all, every native tribe
right.
in North America has a story about
Oh
something
yeah,
that
absolutely,
Sasquatch
absolutely,
like.
absolutely. Not only does it start within the tribes here in Northern California, but it also transfers within the actual Russian area of the Redwood Forest over there throughout the
The land bridge.
right, exactly, the land bridge, exactly, absolutely. No, I totally get that. But
You know, it's funny when you first came on the show, you were a big Bigfoot believer.
I was. I
know you're
still,
not?
And I still am. I am a huge Bigfoot believer. I really am because if I'm able to be made the way that I am, and other creatures are able to be made the way that they are, then why is it that we cannot exclude? Why can't we?
Because there's
why
no
can't
proof of them existing.
okay,
there's no
but-
skeletons.
But
Well,
why
hold on,
can we?
listen.
Where are the
exclude it?
skulls?
How
you
is
know?
it that we can exclude
Well,
that dimension?
there is.
People are always like, well, the Sasquatch bury their dead. And I'm like,
That's
yeah,
right.
well, so do humans.
Listen,
and you
right.
still find fucking human skulls all over,
here's
man.
the
Like,
problem.
littered.
Here's the problem, I think. And I have never been a big Bigfoot believer. I spent a lot of time in the woods.
Yeah.
I'm a hunter. Spent a lot
Well,
of
no,
time in
this
the
is still
woods.
helpful.
So here's my
That's still
explanation.
helpful.
So they're not us.
No, they're not.
That's
They're
a
not.
problem people have. And people think, oh, they walk upright. They have to do what we do.
No, they
well,
don't.
They can walk.
Bears
around
walk
forest.
upright.
They can move through the woods. Look at how much of
Bears.
America.
I love bears.
Look at bears.
Fucking
Look at
bear,
cougars.
man.
I like cougars too. And cougars. How many cougars have you ever seen dead bodies in the wild?
They
I-
find cougars to
I-
shit all the time.
Well, how
Not
many have you
skulls
seen?
and bones.
Have you
Not
Yeah,
seen-
they
full-
do. What are
not
you talking
often.
about? There's no cougar skull.
No.
No,
Not
no, no,
often.
no, no, no,
Not
no, no,
often.
no, no, no.
That's
no.
because they're rare.
They're
Well,
not-
no,
it's
because
not-
they're quiet. They're soft. They're
You
fast.
still
Not-
find their
well,
dead
not only
bodies.
that, not only
Plus,
that,
they're
not-
scavengers.
Not only that, are you a hunter at any aspect of it within yourself?
Am I a hunter?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I grew up hunting deer and stuff.
Okay, so if you're a hunter and you come across something that's life-threatening,
If you
whether
come
you have
across,
whether you have a tag for it or not, you still have to defend yourself within a life-threatening situation, right?
well,
And so if you come across a bobcat or mountain lion or a cougar,
Bobcats
You
are gonna
still-
fuck. They're like little
well,
things.
still,
Yeah, they're still-
but
they're
anyways, like
Oh, they kill the shit out of my chickens.
if they
They're awful. They come out like in the middle of the day. I'm like,
But-
come here.
if you're
do they?
if,
They come right here.
Cougars do too.
but if you're out
Yeah,
there,
bears.
if you're out
I'm
there
scared
hunting,
as shit at cougars, dude.
if you're out there hunting and you come across one of these things, you have to kill it for a life-threatening
Well-
situation to where then the carcasses of these things aren't going to be well
Dude,
known.
if you see a cougar, You're probably
Well,
not gonna have a chance. It's
I've
gonna
been-
grab you
no,
by the head
no,
and
no,
drag
I've been,
you off.
I've been
That's
stalked
not
by
true.
cougars
That's
more
not
than
true
once.
at all.
You've been stalked by him.
More than once.
Yeah, no,
That's
absolutely.
fucking sketchy,
my,
man.
It is.
No, I got
scary.
kids. You
It's
got
more
kids,
to
right? You have
fucking
children,
find.
It
right?
is.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is.
That's who they like.
It
They
really
like the
is.
little kids.
They
man.
like people.
They like,
They like.
it really
They like
is. It really
children,
is.
man. They're
Because
easy.
It depends on their surroundings.
Yeah, no, and that's the exact.
Remember that
and
old guy who got bit by the head in
And
arcade?
his wife
And his wife hit it in the eye with a pen.
in a stick.
Yes.
It took her a long time. He almost died,
Yeah.
but she.
He said,
Absolutely.
"Take the pen
That
out
was
of my
years
pocket."
ago.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was
Absolutely.
wild.
She shanked the
That
crap
was
out of him. guys.
wild.
That was local.
That was
for
Yeah, it was
insane.
local. It was
Insane
live.
story.
It's
But-
local.
Insane, dude.
But that's
You know,
true.
all those
so,
yeah.
all those
Right in
feline-
Arcata, man.
all those feline.
well,
Redwood
it
Park.
was- Yeah.
It was,
No, it was.
it was
No, it wasn't.
more
Redwood,
like
it was.
Blue Lake in
No, it wasn't Blue Lake. It was Fern Canyon.
Fern Canyon.
Was it Fern Canyon? I
Yeah.
thought it was right there.
Ah.
Fern Canyon.
But
Now,
still, I mean,
that
with-
said,
with-
I've been
within-
stalked
You
in
should Google
Arcata
it.
by a cougar.
Within all those mentalities, though, like I mean, with the
I was stalked by Slenderman. It was terrible.
the feline mentality though is
But
that
I'm
they
not
have
kidding.
to be the feline mentality when it comes to stalking their prey. All right, they have to be well camouflaged. All right, that means that they need well cover within themselves. They're
No,
going
that's not
to,
how-
no, it is.
Do you not know how
Uh,
felines hunt?
No, I do know how felines. Felines, when it comes to the cat aspect of felines, they hunt within their own situations of being camouflaged.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so with camouflage, especially up here, they have to be well within a very plant. I don't want to say plantation. What am I saying?
Oh, what?
What am I saying?
No one knows
No,
what you're saying
What am I
anymore.
saying? What am I saying?
Plantation.
They have to.
They
be,
have to grow cotton and
well,
peanuts a certain
it's
way.
like okay. So
So
like,
our plantations,
okay,
you gotta
so-
go with the weed, man.
Right, exactly. If we're gonna go back to the
Get
book,
back out there.
if we're gonna go back to the book, but no, like, okay, so like I grew up hunting in the D zone, okay, and within the D zone, a lot of the area that bobcats and mountain lions and all those other beings they end up hunting or preying on the prey. You know, it was within close quarters of what they felt comfortable with. It was very disguised locations with themselves. They were very incognito. They were very
That's what's so creepy about them. You have
Yeah,
no idea. They're
the-
up in the
the-
tree. They
the-
sit in the trees and
yeah.
just stare down.
Yeah,
It's
not
like,
only the
man,
trees,
you have
not
no
only the
idea.
trees,
Fuck that,
but
they
they-
can hide
How
in
often
but
do
they-
you walk
but they-
around like this?
but they
You know what I
need-
mean? You do
you
walk
can go
around like
through.
this.
You
That's
can
how I
go
knew I was
through.
being stalked.
You
Because I
can
heard,
go
I
through.
heard something in the tree. And
Yeah.
I knew I was being stalked. And this
Absolutely.
isn't a human area. This is
Yeah.
not a isolated area in the woods. This is
No.
me walking at
No,
night.
you will never see a cougar, a mountain lion, or a bobcat in an isolated area. You will always see them with you. You always recognize them.
Well, this was
within,
an isolated area.
within an area of high terrain and or an area of with high meadow like trees to where like everything is all ferngully style and everything to where they can weave and bob and everything and be able to hide behind trees and other roots and other plants to be able to stalk you and be able to get to a close enough destination to where they can go ahead and pounce.
Yeah, no, I
Like,
They
that's
killed a
what I'm
bunch
saying.
around me, man. A
Oh,
bunch.
absolutely. I don't.
And I had
don't-
goats.
I
It
don't
was
doubt
like
it.
a constant fear.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've been stalked by mountain lions myself. You know, I've been around that. The cougars and
Dude, I think all the cougars that stalked you were in the bars.
no cougars.
you're a
I
pretty
know.
girl.
Cougars.
I-
No
You're
I
a
like
pretty
cougars.
man.
I-
You're a
I-
Tell me
beautiful
about those
man.
cougars.
I am a pretty woman. All right.
Pretty man, pretty man, a
Oh,
beautiful
pretty
man.
man. My bad.
You have those
My
cheekbones.
bad.
The cougars are gonna go after
Yeah,
you.
like my cheekbones.
He's young,
like,
but he's
that's
mature.
see, that's the thing. That's the thing. They're just
He's a good-looking guy. Huh?
There's just cheekbones. There's
He's-
no cheeks.
he's
There's
kinda
no
hot.
cheeks. There's just cheekbones. You know, that's why it gets.
If I was a cougar, I'd fuck you.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I mean, if
What
it was,
is it, Bigfoot?
hey, you know, if it was a Saturday evening, I'd fuck you.
It-
All right. Oh my
Too
god.
bad it's not.
We're not gonna record this.
It is a Saturday
Going to
evening.
bed.
I retract that statement. But no, I've been stalked myself by mountain lions. Like
Mhm.
I have been through that. You know what I mean? And like there was this, I don't know, probably like a 20-foot by 40-foot section of like pine trees. I mean, like literally, if you were to take this book, and like fill it all with pine trees, a magazine. I'm sorry. If you were to take this magazine and fill it up all with pine trees, I was walking through these pine trees, and like all I heard behind me was just footsteps.
Sounds like you had crushed the pine trees.
No,
Bigfoot.
not at all. Like and like
Aliens.
as soon as I got
Ghosts.
out of it. As soon as I got out of it, you know, I was probably
Slenderman.
about my third or fourth year into hunting. Like,
Jeff the Killer.
I knew my surroundings. I knew what it is that I needed to look out for. I knew what it was that I need to be, you know. I knew what my surroundings needed to be. You know, I knew what I needed to look for. I knew what I needed to watch out, and then all of a sudden, I get out of this area, right, and it's literally just like this, and it's just nothing but small pine trees just coming up.
Is the right word, but
and I get out and I get on top of this rock, and I'm probably about right here from where this is, where what I walk through, yeah, and
Promontory.
I look down, and all of a sudden, I see this beautiful, magnificent cat. Just
You saw it?
oh my god, it was.
did you ask it?
It was absolutely gorgeous because like he came
Was
out.
it a cat in the hat?
He came. It was not the cat in the hat, and thing 1 and thing 2 did not come out with it. And this guy, this monster of a beast of a feline, came out, and he could smell me because the wind was pushing right against me.
I can smell
And
it too.
it was going straight to him. He could smell me, but I was high enough to where he couldn't see me. And I saw him come out of these pine trees, and it was like ferns and pine trees. Like we were right next to the river and the creek, and it was just
You sure you don't mean furs?
ferns.
Furs. Douglas
Ferns.
fir.
No.
Pines?
No. I mean
Ferns?
ferns.
Pines?
I mean ferns.
Fern
No.
plants?
I know you say ferns,
Right.
but when you say pines, we
Right.
don't have that many pines around here.
Yeah,
It's like Douglas
ferns are little
fir,
plants-
redwood
Okay,
trees.
so I was actually growing up and raised in the Sacramento area.
Yeah,
Is
and
this what you're
Okay.
talking about?
Yeah, and
Oh,
so
okay.
like the D zone is where you guys all heard about where the Donner Party.
Yeah,
The
right?
Donner Party
Yeah.
happened in Donner.
Right,
That was
Donner
like-
Lake.
Right,
That
exactly.
wasn't
Donner
Sac.
Lake.
That was
But
more.
like
ski
not to be like stereotypical, but the Donner Party happened within the D zone. Okay, like
Oh, you call
It's
it
way
D
up
zone
there in
'cause
the
it-
mountain.
yeah,
though. I mean,
yeah.
they were
Yeah,
trying to get
way
to
up.
Sacramento.
Yeah, absolutely,
Sacramento's
absolutely.
where they were headed.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're absolutely
And
right.
then one dude did get down there.
Right, he did.
Yeah.
He did. But that entire zone is considered the D zone for hunting. And so that entire zone is where we hunted
Cannibalistic sheep.
as I was growing up. Like that
Yeah.
was the zone that we hunted was
They had those sugar pines with like the big, huge
oh
pine
yeah,
cones and
absolutely,
shit.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And so like like that's where I grew up hunting was the D zone, that area where the Donner Party like I've been where the Donner Party has actually expired and like went into cannibalism and everything else. Like I've seen the area and what all that happened. Like I seen where the wagons.
Oh, my
all
best
broke
friend just
down.
bought a house there.
You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
a wonderful area.
Oh, it is. It's really nice.
It
man.
really is.
They have that
It
little
really is.
Donner Lake
Like,
and
not
stuff,
to be
man.
not
It's
to
really
be
beautiful.
Not to be desensitive about the Donner Party, but it really is a wonderful
Well, it wasn't
area.
a Holocaust or something. you
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, but these days you never know what could be considered the same
Everything?
litigations. Absolutely.
Little everything's offensive
Yeah.
now.
No,
Fuck
absolutely, absolutely. But so like I'm there in the D zone, and I watch this cat come out of these pine trees, and that's what they were. They were pine trees, and he comes out. His head comes out, and then like he's sniffing. You can see him sniffing, and like I went through all of it. He went through the same. He came out the same area that I came out through, and I got to a point to where I was sitting up on the rock, and we had radio communication between my father, my grandfather, and my uncle. And I was sitting on top of the rock, and then all of a sudden I hear twigs snapping down on the bottom. I look over, and all of a sudden I just see this mountain lion's head just come out of these pine trees. and it was like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Because he
well,
was
that's not how I would have thought about that.
I know, right?
Oh
That
my
sounds
God, no,
terrifying.
You don't love it. I would have
That
shot that
sounds
fucker in
scary
the
as
fucking
shit.
face.
No, I mean, don't
Fuck
get me,
that.
don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
man.
Don't get me wrong. I put my 30-aught on his head. Okay, I had my
Did
scope.
you
I
kill
had
it?
everything. No, I did not. I did not. And I'll tell you the reason why is because
It was
when he
majestic.
came out, he literally came out and probably went about, I don't know, about 25 feet ahead of himself, and then turned to the left, came around, did a full circle all the way around to where he was like 180 degrees where he first started, raised his nose up, and then he just went back into the pine trees. But the entire time, I had my scope on him. I had my 30-aught and my scope on him the entire time. I'm watching this through my scope, you know, and like he was looking for who I was and where I went, you know. But I was so high up.
He was probably thinking, man, this guy can't shoot me. It's not a fair fight.
Probably. But you know what? It was the most scariest and one of the most beautifulest encounters I've ever been in.
Beautiful.
Because I mean, just
Most beautiful?
to be stalked by a mountain lion / cougar.
No, it's not pretty or cute to be stalked by a mountain lion.
It really is. It
No,
really
it's not.
Is. Yes,
No,
it
it's
is.
fucking not, because I have.
It
It's
really
fucking,
is.
no, it's not
From my
good.
experience, it is. I'm telling you, from my experience, it is.
Yeah, because
From
you
your
got stalked
experience, it
by
may
a
be
mountain
different.
kitty. You probably had some orange tabby following you. You got freaked out. I've been stalked by a mountain lion. It's not pretty or cute. You're like, I'm going to kill this thing if it doesn't kill me first.
If you were there with no eyebrows, I'd probably fuck you.
I still have eyebrows, and
No,
you
you don't.
are not allowed to fuck me.
You have no
Look at
eyebrows.
your eyebrows, man.
He has
They're
no eyebrows.
blonde.
Oh, okay.
Just like yours. Right, take off your glass to show the folks. Look, same eyebrows. Oh, they're there. It's calm.
Oh,
good
snap.
God Almighty.
This has been a great time. I love
Sláinte.
it. Yeah.
Thanks for being on the show, man. It's been really cool.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you can come back again soon. You gonna write another book?
I am working on another book. Yes, I am.
Well, tell you what your book's about.
My book
Is it a
is
sequel or a different book?
about. Oh no, this is standalone.
All right, let's do
No,
this.
it's a new book. It takes place in 1983. It is about a
Without
it's so hard to
giving too
explain.
much away.
Yeah, right.
but kick it out easy.
This father, his teenage daughter has run away, and he can't find her.
Okay.
And then he finds evidence that she's making these pornographic movies that are complete blood orgies. And he determines that he wants to rescue her. She's involved with a vampire cult that is very much like Charlie Manson. Like a Charlie Manson vampire.
A religious cult.
No, not religious. Well, kind of
But a
spiritual.
vampire.
Spiritual.
Because Charlie wasn't he's dead now, but he wasn't a religious cult. It wasn't a vampire
Spiritual.
cult.
Spiritual.
Yeah, like a
So imagine
a
Charlie Manson.
psychological
Imagine if the
cult.
Charlie Manson family
Actually
were
had some
fucking
background.
like vampires.
Okay.
But the thing is, I never use the word vampire, and they're not like technically like vampire. They don't turn into bats,
Yeah.
and they don't do anything. But they're like they worship blood, and they're like
Okay.
they're blood junkies.
Got it.
So it's a cult of pornographic blood worshippers, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. You're gonna
Sounds
like
like a
it. You're gonna
good-ass
like it.
book, dude.
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Sounds like a lot of fun, man. We gotta get you back on the show. How long do you think that's gonna be until that's done?
I gotta finish it. I'm hoping I can finish it this summer, and then try to start selling it in the autumn and winter. And if we're really lucky, maybe a year it'll be out. I mean,
you
I
got
don't
other
know.
shit to do too. You got like
I got a book of short stories that I'm selling right now. I've been talking to publishers and shopping it around, and hopefully this book of short stories will be out soon.
well,
And,
fuck it, Amazon that. I'll post your shit up. And
I don't want to
produce it.
self-publish really. I mean, I do. You get all the money, but like the distribution, getting it in bookstores. Yeah, you know.
I don't know, man. I've never tried to publish anything I've done, so.
I'm trying to move up. Like this
No,
book's
I know.
published by a very small publisher. You know, but it's still I didn't publish it myself. It was published by a publisher, and what I'm trying
Let's
to
talk
do
about
is
the
work
publisher. Get
up
the publisher. Who's the publisher?
Black Rose Writing. They're just like they have some good horror. They have this book, The Dollhouse, that's doing excellent, dude, by a great writer.
Where
and,
are they from?
They are from Texas.
Texas.
And they're just
nice.
some random publisher that I ran into. Dude, I sent my book out. You know what I mean? And you're like,
Like,
they
yeah,
said
we'll do this.
publish it. And I was
Yeah,
like,
boom.
all right, give me the contract.
So,
and
Black
we did
Rose
this
Publishing.
Shit. Black Rose.
Hell yeah, give him a shout out. Yeah, that's good.
Hello, Black Rose. What's
That's
up,
awesome,
Reagan?
That's what
Yeah.
we should do. Hell yeah. Yeah, we look forward to seeing more of your work, and maybe we'll do a paranormal investigation soon.
It sounds great, man.
Down for that?
I
man?
am way down, dude. It's
All right, guys.
wonderful being here. Thank you so much.
I am Jay, and this is our guest, Matthew.
Hello.
Don't forget to check out our stuff, and we will see you next week. And we love you. We heart you in the face.
Heart you in the face. Bye, guys.
Very in the face. Let's see if I can find this thing. I know Jack did this thing. Blah, blah, blah. Nope. Not going to work for me. All right. Guys, see you later.